All right, it's indeed a very, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of the Taco. Being the 23rd of February, Tuesday 23rd of February 2021. Tarehe ni 23 mwezi wa pili mwaka ni 2021. Nashukuru sana kuwaona tena. It's always a pleasure to have you. As usual, I request that when you join in, please like. When you like, I get to know that you're watching us. And after you like, please share. When you share, you give someone else an opportunity to watch the broadcast. When you join in, please like, share, and let us know where you're watching us from. Like, share, and let us know where you're watching us from. Kama kawaida, kabla tujaanza kazi lazima tuende mbele za Mungu, alafu tukirudi tunajua inakuaje. Mighty Father, we come before you this morning. We worship you, we glorify your name. Thank you for another opportunity to be alive. We thank you for the week that has been. Even as we start off, you pray that you're going to be with us. May you guide us and give us the wisdom that we need. As we have this conversation, we shall be grateful to you. Just mighty name we do pray and believe. Amen and amen. All right. Leo ni tarehe 22 Tuesday 2021. Nashukuru sana kwaona. Welcome to the tackle. This is a tackle, and the tackle begins what? The tackle begins now. When you get in, please like, share, and let us know where you're watching us from. Today we are going to host mheshimiwa. Tulisema juzi jana, you saw the poster surrounding on Monday ikisema kwamba tutakuwa na mheshimiwa wa Gatundu South, Moses Kuria, the firebrand. He shoots from the hips. He shoots from he shoots from all over. He's a guy who does it all. Juzi nilisikia huko alisema sijui nani ni Kanyau kamekaukiwa. Anatuambia, so you're going to have a conversation with Moses Kuria. He has his own party that he's been running. He has several seats he's running for. Akona kwa by-election pia pale London ward, ako pale Eldoret Ruma ward pia yuko na kazi pale. Atatuambia pia People's Empowerment Party inahusu nini, na alianzisha kwa nini, na inakuaje pia kwenye ulingo wa kisiasa. We'll also be having a discussion on the happenings on the national platform, what's going on with BBI. BBI seems to be getting attraction, even as critics, who him included, have been having a conversation around it, and they're saying we are not going to pass it. But again, you're seeing the county assembly is continuing to give the bill a clean bill of health. We'll also be talking about another Moses Kuria that nobody has ever talked about. And Moses Kuria that's not a politician. You know, that's a conversation we would want to know. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Jambo mheshimiwa.
Morning.
You know, these tacklers have been asking for you for the longest time.
Oh, really?
Kila siku wanaulizanga Moses Kuria anakuja lini? Mwaka mzima sasa.
Haliwi mwishowe huwa. Hapa leo. Nashukuru Mungu, asante.
Nashukuru sana kukuona.
Kunikaribisha.
This is your first time on the tackle.
Yes. Yes. I'm grateful, and I'm really impressed by the way our alternative media channels are coming up. So I think it's also a wake-up call to our mainstream media houses to get their act in order. Otherwise, but it's good to have diversity of platforms to help us to communicate. Yeah.
And now that you even mentioned that angle, what do you think the mainstream media is having it wrong? And why do you think we need alternative media at this point?
I think mainstream are not getting the memo. I've been there before. I've played in that space before. Advertising budgets are going to go more towards alternative, and that should be worrying. And I think they have seen. You've seen what the nation is doing with the Nation of Africa. Something very commendable. It's very good. You know something interesting, Gerald, is that I am undergoing an active ban. Collectively by the media houses.
You're being banned?
Yes.
You're a contraband product in the media space?
Yes, I am contraband.
Why?
I am persona non grata. What happened is that when COVID broke up, in the early quarter of first quarter of last year, I just put a fair comment on Facebook, and I said that banks have led the way in advocating for mobile money transactions, so that we avoid cash handling that would contribute to the spread of COVID. And I put a post and said, I think we need to take the cue from there and avoid hard copy newspapers and go for online. And they just conspired and banned me from media.
So you're banned because you said
they have banned me, and then after that they start advertising. 10 bob a day, 20 bob a day. Nation of Africa. So why ban? First of all, even if I said something wrong, of all the people, should the media be the first people to condemn?
No.
Yeah.
So at least they took your advice. If you're saying they're saying
took my advice, but they
still banned you.
They still punish me for it. Yeah. But thank God for alternative media because, you know, I've got close to 1 million people now on my alternative channels, and with 4 or 5 times reach, you know, for each of the platform. So if I go for a public function, all I need to do is upload my video on my Facebook and
you're done. You don't even need TV anymore. And the question is, even as
I
you have
survive
the
without that, you know. I just said that tomorrow I know a government, current or future, will come and start clamping down on media freedoms. Then they will come to us and expect us to defend media freedom. And then they are exercising media censorship. You know, it's sad. You know, it's absurd that of all the people, it takes you know, the dictatorship and impunities by media houses. No, you know, it's sad, and I hope that wise counsel will prevail, and there's, you know, what we need, because the problem with this media house now is what we call shareholder capture, whereby all media houses want to do something which they think is going to please the shareholders. And if you look at the leading media houses, we've got now up to, let's say, top 5. Top 3 are owned by people with political, you know,
political interest.
Yeah, political interest. So you find that the media house, the editors, instead of, you know, using the education that they received, the first consideration is what is going to please their masters. You know, and we always say that media is supposed to be the conscience of the nation.
It's also with the fourth estate.
Yeah,
that's in bed with the first estate.
Right now, you know, the chief in gagging is the media house themselves, as opposed to government or politicians.
Then tomorrow when they clamp down, they'd want us to stand in solidarity.
You know, exactly. So I want to hear my friend Boniface Mwangi, who leads the demonstrations in support of media freedom, say something about what I've just said.
About the banning of Kuria.
About the banning. So,
what's this Kuria?
Because I'm very sympathetic to media. I've been a media entrepreneur myself. I don't know, you know, 3 years ago, I released a book called Saying It As It Is. It was a collection of opinion articles that I have written for reading newspapers in Kenya for 25 years.
25 years.
25 years. My first article was published by The Nation in April of 1992. Yeah. Since then, I have contributed to all the media, you know, especially on business, on politics, and all these things. And
then now you're the victim of the same media. Now, for the longest time, we've agitated for the media space and the freedom of the media.
Yeah.
And from your statement that you've made, do you feel we've made any progress really in liberating the media, or we are sinking deeper into media and state capture?
You know what? You have this platform. We have my good friend Jarango has the other platform, which he started when he lost his job at Media Max before he got his current job. I think that's, you know, I look at the case of Jarango, and it's a good wake up call. I hope he doesn't get comfortable, because now he's at you know, Radio Africa, and stop pushing that wonderful platform that he has out there. You guys, I mean, you when the media house started retrenching people with COVID, I think it was God's design that we have alternative media.
He's actually a COVID baby. Now that you mentioned it.
Absolutely.
Anyway, a lot of people you've known, you know, Moses Kuria, the politician. I mean, there must have been a Moses Kuria before the Moses Kuria, the politician.
But of course,
I was
born in a hospital, not in a political rally. So
who is this Moses Kuria for politics?
Well, let's say I was just born a rural boy. I call myself villager number 1. Because I love it. I went to rural schools, went to a rural primary school, went to a rural, secondary school for my O levels, before I went for my A levels, and then I went to the University of Nairobi, and I started a Bachelor of Commerce degree. When Bachelor of Commerce was Bachelor of Commerce, nowadays nasikia kila mtu anasema akona Bachelor of Commerce. Yeah. So those days in the whole country we used to produce 400 graduates only.
400
per year, yes. Only 400. So for you to make it there, you have to be extremely, extremely privileged.
You have to be sharp.
You have to be sharp. Yeah, then I went to worked a couple of places, tried to be an auditor.
You tried to be or you are an auditor?
I was an auditor. I was an auditor with the largest African-owned audit firm called Gatundu and Associates, where it was used to be run by the father of John Gatundu, the former PS anti-corruption SAR, as we call him. And then I went to work for Total as an accountant, Total, the oil company, before I settled in banking. So banking was my home. So I worked for Standard Chartered Bank, and I was very young, but I rose through the ranks. Actually, by the time I was leaving Standard Chartered Bank, I was head of operations.
Oh,
yeah.
Standard Bank in Kenya.
Yeah,
all right.
In Kenya, but everything you see automation within Standard Chartered Bank, I was a initiator. So after I used to be in charge of something called re-engineering. Yeah? So after I re-engineered the process in Kenya, I was asked to help do the same across the region. So we started the Shared Service Center. Today, the shared service in Standard Chartered Bank serves 11 countries.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was moving in the region. Those were the days of Y2K. I confused between YK 92 and the Y2K, the year 2000, switch over.
Yeah. So,
I used to jump from Zimbabwe to Uganda to Tanzania to Cameroon, So, very good time I had there. Then one of my bosses, a nice English chap by the name of Chris Wingfield, who was my boss, yeah. He left and he left the bank, and he had come from, before he joined the bank, he had come from a bank in Saudi. And then because he had his own networks there, after he left the bank, he went back to Saudi to head a very big, actually the largest Islamic bank in the world. And he came by and gave me an offer, and I resisted the offer because Saudi how it is. So but this is a very good challenge. We have a bank there with 500 branches, a wonderful opportunity to re-engineer and do the same thing that we've done for Standard Chartered Bank. So I completely refused because of the restrictions. Then he told me, you know what? 2 weeks after the date that I intend that you land in Saudi, the Brazilian football team is coming to play a friendly game with Saudi Arabia. And bingo, I was sold. So that's how I went.
So you went there for football reasons.
He knew.
For bold reasons.
He knew that I will not forgive you, Chris Wingfield. He knew that I'm a football fanatic. And every time, even when we're working together, every time he goes for holiday in the UK, he used to bring me a Chelsea shirt, because I've been a Chelsea fan for the longest period. So he knew my weakness.
So you ended up taking the offer in Saudi?
I took up the offer. I said, okay, Chris, I'm coming for 1 year because of you and because of football. So I ended up spending a decade there.
Wow.
In different capacities in the Middle East.
10 good years.
10 good years, started my family when I was there, my firstborn was born in
You started a family in Saudi?
In Saudi.
So ulipata Mwarabu?
Hapana.
Ulifanya importation?
Importation, yeah. So we can actually export. So my firstborn was born in a hospital known as Saudi German Hospital in Riyadh. And by the time I got my secondborn, my services were required all over the region. So after 4 years with the bank that I joined, then we re-engineered it and the challenge was over. So I got job offers, but then I said, instead of trying to choose which bank to work for to go and re-engineer, I started a consulting company.
Become a consultant,
with some Saudi friends, and moved all over the region. I can't tell you any country in the Middle East that I didn't work for banks. And from Egypt to Lebanon, Dubai, where I eventually settled there. It was interesting. It was an interesting time.
So the 10 years was now
I can go back.
across.
I can go back to that life and do it again, all over again.
If what happens?
Well, if
All right, let's continue.
say the challenge is over, like, you know, for me, it's very important for me to have a challenge, to do something and to make a change, to make an impact, to make a difference.
To push your limits as well.
Yeah, so I after 10 years, then I said, actually, this is very interesting. I was in having coffee at a hotel called the Fairmont in Dubai, and I met my old friend Raila Odinga. This was in
so Raila Odinga has been your old friend.
This was in early 2007 or late 2006. Yeah, I have known Raila for a long time. You know, when I was a student leader, I didn't tell you that bit. That when I was at the University of Nairobi, I was actually a student leader. I was the treasurer of SONU. After SONU had been unbanned, we campaigned with Akina Kabando, TJ, the MP for Waraka, Senator for Migoli, Uchiro Yako. These were my peers. So after we campaigned for Moi to reinstate SONU, and we formed something called SONU 92, the year it was reinstated, I was elected the first treasurer after SONU was unbanned. Interestingly, the last one before it was banned was Miguna. So it was
so mulifuatana na Miguna.
Yeah, so because of we were expelled, by the way. A committee was formed to expel us from the university because of activism. We gave more headache. It was also the time of the tribal clashes, so we were very active, on that issue of ethnic clashes of 1992. And Moi ordered that we be expelled, but we went to court. First of all, we insisted on being represented by lawyers, the first time ever. And who was our lawyer? Willie Mutunga, then a lecturer in the School of Law. And our chairman of the Council of Advisors was Kifuda Kibwana.
Wow, the governor of
Kibwezi. Of
Makueni. Yeah.
And the university, Moi said that we should be expelled and we should not even appear with lawyers. But we went to court.
He is the one who reinstated you, and then again...
Yes, he reinstated SONU, then he banned us after months because we are too radical. And then, he expels us, but we went to court. We went to court and we got an injunction at 6 p.m. Through Justice Moira. I remain grateful because if he had ruled that otherwise, maybe I would not be sitting where I'm sitting here today. But that time, even to get a lawyer to represent us, we didn't have money. It was a big problem. So we went to see Jaramogi, Oginga Odinga.
The
Mzee. And he was like our father, our patron. And he called George Anyola the late, and they discussed, and they gave us the lawyers. He ordered the late Gerard Otieno Kajwang to represent us that time. So Otieno Kajwang represented us with Mohamed Nyaoga, who is
Jamaa Mapambano.
Jamaa Mapambano, Mohamed Nyaoga of this the current chairman of the central bank. They represented us, and somehow we were reinstated. Interestingly, the guy who was supposed to chair the tribunal that would expel us was Jimmy Angonyi, who is my colleague today. So we've been there. When I met Raila, because we had worked together. Very interesting. Raila is a very interesting man. In 1997, now after the university, a guy called Richard Maina, a friend of mine, and myself were contracted by Raila to do some research for him. That time they had just worked with Matiba, and Matiba has said, no reforms, no elections. So he boycotted the 97 after doing very well, and I believe he won in 92. So after that, Matiba, pulled out and said he's not vying for elections because there were no reforms that he wanted. And Raila had just formed a coalition or so a working arrangement with Matiba. So we wanted to know whether Matiba's base, mostly in Mount Kenya region, would back him now that Matiba is not vying and him is vying, and they were in this alliance or coalition together. So we went out there and to do some research. That was long before there was scene of it and all that. And we came with the results, and we went to Ajip House, which was his office, with Richard Miner. We gave the results to Baba, which showed that you have absolutely no chance.
At that time, was he still Baba or he was not Baba?
It was not Baba. It was just,
Or Baba has always been Baba.
He was Tinga, because at the time now he had the tractor, the Tinga thing.
The DP.
He was Tinga. So I outlined. I remember computers were new in this country. So it was my first time to use PowerPoint. So I had a wonderful report I had done on PowerPoint. And I printed it out, so I gave this booklet, one copy to Raila, and his then chief advisor was Ida.
Mama, bibi Aida Odinga ni alikuwa chief advisor.
Very supportive. I have a lot of respect.
She was the chief advisor of Raila.
Yes.
The wife.
Yes. That time, you don't have many friends. That time, I didn't have many friends like there is today. So when I will present this research, Senovate type, fighting
From Central Kenya.
Whether
Raila Odinga stands a chance.
Yes. It's Ida who is there to receive.
What was the report? It
was truthful. It was very truthful.
Almost like the Kangata letter.
It was a Kangata type truth, So I thought
in 1992, you're doing a research in Central Kenya. Raila Odinga. 1997.
Yeah.
For Raila Odinga in Central Kenya, whether he stands a chance in Central Kenya.
Whether Matiba's base can switch to
Raila Odinga. 1997.
Yeah.
And the report was
Kibaki.
And the report was they will not vote for him.
They will not. I said two things. One, they will vote for Kibaki. Although they were not very warm to Kibaki. Remember the Murang'a, Kiambu, Nakuru, that was the Matiba strongholds. And the 92 had divided us badly between our side, which was the Matiba side, and the Nyeri and Kirinyaga, Meru, diaspora, Laikipia, which was Kibaki. So Raila thought that now he had a chance with the old Matiba constituency of Kiambu, Murang'a, Nakuru, Left Valley, Narok,
To back him up.
Yeah, to back him up. So we give him the result.
So at that time, what were the reasons? That's why I want to go.
Yeah.
What, from your research, what are the reasons why people from Central Kenya in 1997 could not support Raila Odinga?
These things are very historical. Yeah. They are not of our making. It's not our fault. We can only try to redress it. It has been a very interesting thing, even for me, to look at this, because my friend, I have told you I was a student leader in 1992 when we went for the first multi-party. And a student leader is someone who is is a privileged position. Yeah. So I was privy to what was happening. And because we were so political also, so we were part of, even Sabasaba and all that kind of thing. We were part of it when our mothers were stripping naked at All Saints Cathedral and Uhuru Park. We were there, so we knew what was happening. And I saw Ford crumble right in front of my eyes when we had Ford Kenya and Ford Asili.
Ford Asili, yes.
I saw that, when we were fighting Moi must go, what, we were very much together, as we were even more ideologically closer to Jaramogi than even to our Kikuyu friends. But for some reason, so things go very well. Then all of a sudden, and like on 9th of May 1992, when Matiba came back from the hospital, from London, from hospital, and we had this big reception from the airport. It was also almost as big as one from Mukisa Kitui recently. so
was it big? Or you're trying to be sarcastic?
Another story for another day. So we had crossed all the roads and everything. And then, just because of the reception, friction between Jaramogi and Matiba started instantly. And then, as if it is some petrol which was waiting for a matchstick. So that divide then went like this. We were involved to try and, reconcile. I remember Jaramogi passed away in 1994. In 1995, there was a first anniversary for Jaramogi. It's called Teroburu, or returning the cows home. So that time we had something we were mooting as young leaders who could not even afford bus fare home, but we were calling ourselves leaders all the same. akabando. So we teamed up.
Viongozi.
Viongozi. So we teamed up with the late Ginyo Kariuki, my good friend who was my MP before, Gengi Muigai, in Gatundu. So we teamed up and we went for this terubur in Kangoka Jaramogi in Bondo. And tried now to see how can people who are all working very well before this 1992 elections, how can now we are having this problem? And we tried. I remember after we were tear gassed, because we were tear gassed in that ceremony on the 20th of January 1995. So we were tear gassed. Tear gas tulipigwa na DC alikuwa anaitwa Kirito Amai. So Kirito Amai kuwa DC wa Siaya. And Moi had said there's not going to be live music. But hey, Luo Nyanza being what it is, they cannot. How now?
Ohangla.
Dio Misiani. So now it's like it was a very interesting day. That time we even had Fort Kenya now was a party for that region. Raila had not left to form NDP. So I remember even on that day of that event, there was a by-election in Bugoma, I think in Webuye, where when Musikali Kombo, yes, I remember Musikali Kombo lost his seat because of oath thing. He administered an oath, and that's illegal.
He was the Miguna of that day.
Yes. Now this is now like a tradition of Bukusu oath to bind voters to vote for him. It's interesting to find out if this is still in our statute. Whether I can go and administer oath in Gatundu and then I lose my seat. He lost his seat because of administering oath.
Wow.
To Bukusu rituals, to voters, to bind them to vote for him. I don't think that's very democratic. If I want to give them rat poison to vote for me, that should be my choice. So it was called Kuria Sirul. That was the oath in Bukusu. And then it was even banned from vying again. So in his place, Saulo Busolo was vying. And so there was a by-election. And that time, there was friction between Kijana Amaro and Raila Odinga. So Kijana Amaro was not with us in Kangoka Jaramogi because he's in Webuye with the Saulo Busolo trying to beat Musikali. And they won. They won the seat. And now he landed now in the evening, close to evening, in Bondo, having come from this with victory. And the Fort Kenya crowd was ecstatic. I remember Raila was somehow uncomfortable because Musikali, Kijana Amaro got a very big, he was welcome there. Things were bad those days. I remember Fort Kenya had an arm doing. They used to call it Fort Kenya arm doing. Everybody was saying they have an arm doing. Even for us when we were students, we used to have a son arm doing.
That was now the Kondele of today.
Exactly. So Olusegun Obasanjo was a guest of honor in this event. And
of bringing the cows home.
That time, he's not civilian president. He was former military ruler of Nigeria. Yeah. So the point I was driving to. So after we were tear gassed at night, so we went to Raila's Opoda farm in the border of Rarieda and Bondo, and we were discussing this issue of why are Luos and Kikuyos having problems working together, blah, blah, blah. That's in 1995. You're talking about how many years, my friend? Yeah? Think about close to
20-something years.
Years, yeah. So we've been on that journey. So I'm going back to the question you asked, what was the problem?
Yes, what was the problem?
So even today, I don't know. When I get the answer, you'll be the first one to know. I'll let you know.
So up to date, you don't know.
I don't know.
Because why. I think that's the same thing. It's a coincidence because that is the same research you do today. 5 years later.
Yeah, but before I get there, don't forget your point. I wanted to say something about Raila. So once we gave him the report, it was a very bad report for him. I told Richard Maila, hapa, hatuta report.
Hapo unaona mshahara kikunywa maji.
Hapa. Richard Maila akasema tufanye ukarabati kidogo. Sema hapana. Always stick to the truth because you'll be vindicated. ukidanganya tu
alafu enda anguke ndio atawanyonga zaidi.
So what? So we spoke, they said, look, whether he'll pay us or not. Actually, he didn't tell us come tomorrow. He read the report, he said, I've heard you. I see. Ask question. Then he told the principal advisor, Ida, to pay us. And Ida paid us on the spot. A lot of money, really. Money that could have cost inflation.
How much money?
30,000 shillings. There's a lot of money for us.
That is money that have caused an inflation in the economy.
Hustle activists in this town.
30,000.
30,000.
Would have caused an inflation in 1995.
Right. So
he accepted it.
He accepted. He accepted it. I think it's even. I think that realization, because he started to think about it seriously. Even when he chose to go for cooperation with Moi, I think it was
based on your report.
It was based on that something
on that
there. Because after the elections, we withdrew from the petition. Kibaki and Wamalwa and Charles Ngiru went for petition, and Raila withdrew from that petition and chose to work with Moi.
Wow. So, baba hivyo ndio mambo inaendanga.
Baba ndio mambo inaendanga. And you know, akaanza hapo akasema mimi this Moi is going for his last term. Mimi akipiga kona nitapiga kona na yeye. Sasa I went there.
Akaingia
hapo. Ile unajua grand coalition akaona ikibaki zile maliza. Wacha tu
huyu jamaa
ndio. And now again as you know, I was the first one to predict about the handshake before the handshake.
Wow.
If you go to my Facebook on the 22nd of February 2018, I wrote that Raila Odinga will decamp and work with Jubilee before Mudavadi, Kalonzo or Wetangula. And I said, mark this post. Yeah. It didn't take 2 weeks.
So unajua mtu yako?
Raila mtu yangu bana. Mimi najua yeye kabisa. Kabisa.
So what are the chances that he'll also have another handshake after these elections? Because then it means that you've read the trend. When you read in the report that Mount Kenya was not going to support him, he decided to leave Kinangilu, Kinanare to go and run the petition.
It is my prediction. So yes. You cannot take me to
umekuwa nabii, okay. Nabii wa siasa. Haya, make another prediction.
Raila Odinga and William Ruto will work together.
Haya. When?
In 2022.
What makes you say so? They work together as an handshake or before the elections?
Before.
They work together before the elections?
Yes.
Not after the elections?
Na kuna watu watachwa kwa mata.
Kama nani? Now the question is, you've given an instance of Raila Odinga. Yeah. He doesn't get into coalitions before elections.
Yes, but
he gets into coalitions after elections. Why? What would be different now? Why would he get into a coalition with William Ruto before elections?
Last bullet.
Last bullet or last year ukweli?
Last year ukweli sasa.
In last year mwisho ukweli?
In last year ukweli. And you know, Baba, kitu munaita, yes, he's in opposition throughout his life. But look at, he's always where in the warm corner of the opposition. Sio ile iko na baridi. Sio ile iko na baridi.
So do you say he's a strategist or he's a political coward?
No, he's a strategist.
He's a sharp businessman.
Yeah, kitu inaitwa Siberia. Political Siberia. Kusahaulika. He will always do a somersault. He'll find himself there.
In government, still.
Government all where it's happening.
So you're predicting that Raila Odinga will work with William Ruto? Yes. For what reason? Why do you think?
You know, Raila has done his bit. And his place in this country is secure. In the history of this country is secure. And why? Because, I talked to the man. Why? And I talked to him even before the handshake. Actually, on the day that I did that post, I had lunch with Raila. And even if it was you have done what you have done in this country. And then, do you want your last chapter to be that he fizzled out? That's the last chapter in the Raila book. Alikuja kuja mkwejo basko nini akaenda pale Bondo na sasa he's one of the most prominent fish farmers huko pale inaitwa Usenge, pale Imbo. No, that's not Baba. He will not do that. So and then he has his hand at the pulse of the nation. So he knows that William Ruto has got unassailable lead. So the logical thing for Baba will say, create for me some space nimaliza hii maisha yangu hapa uzee wangu nikusaidie tu kama rafiki yako, tulifanya kazi pamoja. I give you some wisdom and I give you the ideas I had, and he believes that the best government that this country had was a grand coalition with him, between him and Kibaki. So you say, I was in grand coalition, I know what works. Wacha hii mharibu hapa hii nchi nyinyi vijana wa Jubilee. I'll come and give, so we just create some space. And for me, that's something I would encourage.
William Ruto and Raila Odinga are going to work before 2022 elections. Not after elections, before 2022 elections.
Before 2022. And that's, for me, something I'll actively cultivate.
You want us to make...
I'll make it happen.
You are the one who's negotiating the coalition.
I'll make it happen.
You're already negotiating, or you'll make it happen?
No, I'm
so
not
is that still a prophecy or an intention?
For one, it's a prophecy. Because these two guys are my friends. Very close friends. Yeah? And the second thing is an intention.
So let me ask you.
Because hii kizungumkuti tunaongea BBI kushikanisha wa Kenya. Kenyans, they look at their leaders up there. Ni huyu na huyu. So if I can be able to moderate a working relationship.
And make your own BBI in between.
Practical BBI, wacha hii ukora hii. A practical one. Yeah? If I can be able to moderate, because also they need somebody to moderate, not just them working together, but how they work together and how we run this country and how we run government. And it's something which for me is,
something you're willing to invest.
I know some of these things have got political risks.
Yeah.
But I've told you,
I'm actually shocked that you're
I'm
making
a
that
banker
statement.
and I'm a technology person. Yeah. My forte is the economy and business. So I can, even if it doesn't work out and I have to pay the price, so what the hell? I can go back to a bank and start from wherever I was. Yeah,
now,
so I will not fear to do something which I believe in if I have the conviction. If I have the conviction. If I believe it's good for this country.
You'll speak it
and I think that Raila Odinga working with William Ruto will be a very good thing for this country. I would think that all the other things we are doing are rhetorical, theoretical. And I think that thing is, for some period, that if I can be able to craft for these two friends of mine to be able to work together and we move the country forward and we unite this country and we do it willingly, not because some crazy document has forced us to work together, because we want to do it from the goodness and from the depth of our hearts. It's something that would be...
So banka sasa amekuwa mkarabati wa siasa kutengeneza ndoa za kisiasa. Aya, I like the fact that given an history of these two guys. Now, Raila Odinga ulisema aliacha kina Ngilu mataani wakifuatana na petition yake ingia kwa handshake, right? And you had a report from Central Kenya na kina Nyachai nilisikia Kalonzo
Nyachai kwa kama watu wengi Mungu amweke pale pema huko peponi. Rafiki yangu mzee Nyachai, I was in Kisii this week for his burial and aliachwa pia kwa mata
na baba.
So
siku hiyo sasa simu haikuwa sasa.
Season 1 ilikuwa Ngiru, Charity Ngiru Kibaki and Michael kijana wa Maro. Season 2 nani, what is his name, this Nyachai akaja kwa mata. Season 3 watu wakiangalia Raila ako wapi, wako na Kibaki kote. 207.
Nasikia William Ruto alikuwa anasema alikuwa anakunywa chai Serena. Wakisema no, you must go to the
season 4 Wetangula hakuwa hata na ile namba nyingine. Alikuwa anataka ile ya Nigeria. So we are heading to season 5 with my friend. It will be interesting and shock.
So season 5 nani anaweka mataani?
Season 5 ya mataani. Mataani season 5.
Nani anaweka mataani sasa?
Sahi. My good friend Uhuru.
Season 5. Wa mataa.
Yes.
Ni wa mashati. Sawa. You've said it. Now
I am not sure that atakasirika. Because Uhuru is going home. And if that happens and unite this country, he will be saying, I'm in a good place.
Even before you go there, going home, there are two things you've talked about, the history of Baba. So you knew in Central Kenya they didn't have a support. That's the same conversation that's going on today on the ability of Central Kenya to support a Raila Odinga presidency. And even as you speak, the people that are in government with Raila Odinga, including PS Karanja Kibicho, is telling you guys in Central Kenya, separate BBI from Raila Odinga. Now, if Raila Odinga makes that move and supports first of all, I want to understand,
Yes.
before even you go to that part, I want to understand why the consistency in Central Kenya against Raila Odinga all the way for 25 years?
I will attempt. As I told you, I don't
Please,
have I can only attempt.
Please try.
What goes on, even in me, the emotions in my mind. Because I don't hate Raila. Raila is my friend. I don't hate him. So I ask this question again and again. Why? How are people stuck? And you know what happened in 1969? It's not something you can wish away.
Yeah.
I've told you about Musikali Kombo and Kuria Sirulu.
This whole thing.
The whole thing. And there was serious Kuria Sirulu in Mount Kenya in 1969. There was, it's called Muma, the whole thing in Kikuyu. And, this is, so now Tom Mboya has been assassinated in 1969. I was not born by that time, but, I come from Gatundu. And, in my village, in my locality, in my family, we were part of Jomo Kenyatta's system. I mean, you know exactly what's happening there because in this homestead, kuna bodyguard anafanya huko kwa mzee. If I want to go to Mzee Jomo Kenyatta's home and my car breaks down, I can walk from my home. So I know the area, typically very well and the people and what was happening. So I get a lot of talks from wazee who are there. And I think the person, there's one guy one mzee from my village who give me an answer because I keep asking them, what happened between Kikuyus and Luos? Two people who don't compete for land, for what?
They're far apart.
For jobs. Yeah. These ones are in business. These ones are in professional. Why? So they take me to 1969. And they told me that, when there were riots and Jomo Kenyatta's presidency was under threat, there was serious auditing that took place in Gatundu, and people would come. But they were paying for it, eh? It was not free. Yeah. I think it was like 10 bob or something for you to come and take the oath. So take the oath.
You pay to come and take the oath. Wow.
That is strong feeling.
Biashara.
Look at it from the strong feeling. It's a strong feeling, So, all these people who took this oath, they believe, because at that time that, Jaramogi was in the mix and everything, they believe that if they go that direction, that this oath will haunt them. So we may require some divine intervention when you are looking for political reasons.
So what was the content of the oath?
Because see, the oath was binding.
What was being invoked?
The oath was binding. They were invoking the oath to protect Mzee Jomo Kenyatta against those people of Jaramogi.
Wow, the Luos now.
The Luos now, yeah. Because they want to overthrow the government of Mzee. So that was a strong feeling. Yeah. And then, you hear now, I'll take you back now to 82. Huh? Just maybe 14 years after that. So, there's a coup of 82. And Raila was rumored, alleged to be part of that coup. You would think he could be very happy because they were saying Moi anawasumbua, Moi is collapsing the economy. But still, a lot of people took exception to the fact that Raila was leading this, or was said to be, was leading this coup. So then you remember, hey, wait a minute, eh? So they go back to 69. So this one wanted to do like this, and now this one wants to do like this. So it starts building up.
Yes.
Tuko pamoja? Then now we come to 92. Jaramogi, now we have fought Moi together.
Yeah.
Now Jaramogi Matiba Kibaki. And Moi got minority votes. These people divided votes. Then, the narrative keeps on now. These people of overthrowing Jomo Kenyatta. These people of overthrowing Moi. Yeah? And now, these people who have stopped our Matiba from
becoming winning.
Now, fast forward to the matter of 97. Now, Raila again, anachapa corner. Leaves his brother and whatever. So people say, and goes to work with Moi. See, can you sleep with this guy in the same bed and you get some sleep? Yeah? We'll be waking up with nightmares all the time.
At night.
Yeah?
You want to confirm if he's still there.
So the narrative continues. Tuendelee mbele. 202. Si amesema Kibaki tosha?
Yes.
No sooner had the microphone, you know, hood of Kibaki tosha. He's trying to remove the same Kibaki.
Microphone.
I remember that time I sent a mutual friend called Jaindi Kisero. And I want him to deny because we met at, you know, the writer, the economic guy. Because we had lunch with him at New Stanley. I had come from abroad. And I told him, I'm sending you to our mutual friend Raila. Go and tell Raila, even if he's tempted like how, let him not try doing, you know, I know there's temptation because some people there, Kiraitu, Murungaru, Muiralia, Matere, Keriri, there are some people there who, they dug a hole for Raila, and then Raila blindly came in
and jumped in.
You know, so I told Jaindi, you know, let him, I know it is bad, but tell Raila to avoid that trap of antagonizing Kibaki. I remember Jaindi dismissed me, asked me, Kwani Kibaki is an emperor who cannot be, you know, criticized. I said, okay. So again now, we go.
We build up.
They're supposed to be the same government. They're supposed to be working in the same government. And remember that time when Kibaki won, you remember Motogoli Ajamba?
Yeah.
When Raila went to Central, he was received like a hero.
Yeah.
And then he just squandered it. Squandered it within a year. Actually, Raila deserves a medal.
Of squandering?
Of extracting defeat from the jaws of victory.
Wow.
Even when victory is threatening to swallow him,
He chooses the defeat.
he chooses defeat. And somehow he manages.
Mani hote yenye mulikula huko Kiambu.
Hapana.
Mazingaombwe.
I don't know how you
Man
go.
Mazingaombwe
Hakuna goalkeeper, Gerald. Hakuna goalkeeper, mpira uko peke yako. Unashuti huko kama mulio.
Ama unageuka na unarudisha kwa kiwanja katikati.
How now? And victory is here. You manage to extract defeat. Yeah? So now we go now again, you know, Chungwa, Banana, you remember the referendum of 205. And now Kikusa Singh now, they are completely on edge. This guy, hata mkiwekelea kwa chakula kwa meza watu wasema na tuombe kwa chakula, ashaweka mchanga, ashamweka chini, you know. So that narrative now again continues. Si tulianza 69. Tuko hapa. Sasa tuko 207. Yeah? Then of course the rest is history. You know, post-election violence 207, which my people blame it on Raila. They say he was one on the ballot. Yeah? So, and then I said, which is not out of character. So they go back again, 69, say, 82, you know, so it just builds up.
The law part never changes.
It doesn't change. And they're not given a reason to change. Sasa, now we come now to 2013. People believe that Raila had no reason even to go to court. This is right, to go to court. Yeah? To come 2017. The guy is defeated fair and square. Still, somehow, he finds a reason to reject the results. Yes, he goes to court, he wins, he boycotts another one. People say, then right after that, sasa nimefika. How do you expect people? Look at all that story. You know, and you know, our people, the people of Mount Kenya, they are investors. You know, investors don't like to change
Positions.
Yeah, they don't like. Because you invest once, put your money, put your capital, put your labor, put your everything, watch your mambo ifanye kazi. They don't want to wake up in the middle of the night trying to change some decisions there. They have an investor mindset.
Tunaamka usiku unatoa vitu kwa kiosk unasema sasa
and they don't even like, they like consistency. I remember there's a mzee in my village, he had a shop. Akiona mkate karibu kuisha, unaenda kununua mkate na kwambia sikuuzi. Because tomorrow someone will come and find there's no bread and I lose credibility.
So usema mzata ananga mkate.
Mzee ananga mkate, you know. So before you understand it from that point of view, because we don't change positions.
So you think Central
Even
Kenya?
in 203, do you know when Uhuru became president? In the people of Mount Kenya, he became president in 203. Immediately he lost to Kibaki. People pointed at him. This is our next president. In fact, they told me, hii ni njao, hii ni ile ndama, hii ng'ombe tuilishe, tukalishe pole pole, hii ng'ombe ikimaliza kazi
Jingine tunaanza kukamua.
10 years. They came Madakaroa, Peter Kennedy. No, but people said, 10 years ago, we made a decision in our mind. They are investors. They will not change. They will not keep on having committee in the middle of the night saying whether they made the right decision. When I you let it grow. Yeah. So people are getting concerned. I'm telling you, I've been in the mix of these things for 30 years now. I've seen it all. People now asking, why is William Ruto so ahead in Central? It's not new. In 2013, that's when he became president.
2013, 10 years ago.
10 years ago. The minute, tumechagua Uhuru. Because they like to have a next coming soon.
The regimental.
Next showing. They like to plan that thing ahead. They're either farmers or business people. Nani anagojea ukimaliza kuvuna mahindi immediately you plant for the next one. And that is the mindset of us as farmers and as business people. We are farmers, so we plant right after harvest of the other one. And we are business people, we don't like inconsistency, we don't like changing positions, we don't like keep on making business decisions in the middle of the journey. Whether business is doing good or not. We like to make a decision, stick to it, and go the whole hog. So these things are deep jealous. And when people dismiss them on the basis of emotions of today, they are so historical and so deep.
So the other things that you mentioned the history of Mount Kenya and why it has not been very kind to Raila. Not only Raila Odinga, but even the father. Which is an historical from 1969. Now the question is, clearly then Raila Odinga has never, Central Kenya clearly then, like you say, will never change. Yes. Because historically it's deeply entrenched. Yes. And even you don't know why.
Yeah.
That thing will never change. And you said in 2002 or 2003, you said he had the real chance in Central Kenya to grab his chance as a presidency. But he squandered it. Now, what do you think is in the character of Raila Odinga with inconsistency? Because he got into government with Kibaki, they were so good, they were good. Even when Kibaki was being sworn in, he was on a wheelchair.
It was an amazing government.
So, what do you think is the problem? Is he impatient or mashida nini?
One, I think he's impatient. Two, he's too clever. Instead of wise. Yeah?
What's the difference between being clever and being wise?
No, clever, everybody can do. Clever into mchoro. And he has a political brain. He's a good strategist. But even a good strategy must be tempered by conscience. A good brain must be tempered by wisdom. That I can chorea you and take those grasses from you. I have the ability. Don't I have it? I take it. But it should be tempered by a good heart. So you should balance that you can do something, that you have the brains to do something. Don't do it. Because it's not only the brain that is supposed to talk to you, even your heart and your soul and your conscience. So the problem with my good friend Raila is that he has the ability to make those moves. But he should resist them if he thinks, yes, I can do this if I want. But is it helpful? Will it help me? How will I live with the consequences? How will I live with that? So he makes those machinations. Yeah, he makes those machinations. Like this handshake thing. On paper, everything looks so good. He has cholared with his head. He's a good mchoro. BBI is a wonderful mchoro from his head. What he's not telling you is his heart. He said, it is William, This William, if I don't come up with something to destabilize him. The advantage he has, because he knows about the 10 years I'm talking about, will be so huge. What do I do? What can I find? Okay, my brother Uhuru, I do like this, and this. That's not the head. That's the brain working. But the heart should have told him, so that ability to balance the head and the heart is
there's a
what
disconnect.
fails him. Because when his head tells him do, he doesn't ask the heart. Is there anything to do?
Inaenda hivyo. So as we close the discussion on Raila Odinga Central Kenya, do you think that's going to change this time?
It can change only with that formula I've given you.
The formula of William Ruto.
Of William Ruto. So that we can rehabilitate Raila. Yes. Pole to ada Ruto government, Ada Ruto government.
So then Central Kenya can accept Raila Odinga.
It's under Ruto.
It's under Ruto.
Yeah, that time, people like us will go and tell them, look,
for rehabilitation.
Rehabilitate kidogo. Every sinner has a future and every angel has a past. So wacha tumsaidia kidogo. He might be, you know, kidogo we might help him. So that also because he has played his role in democratization of this country. Yeah, he has his contribution. He's made. So pamoja tu tunaweza kusaidiana. Tuvuke hii hapa. After the 10 years of William, waende nyumbani pia na William. Watu wachia na sisi tu.
Kina mmoja siku ya kuja endeleza.
Tukalangana na tu.
So what if your prophecy doesn't work? Or you're pretty sure you're stuck
sure?
If
to work, the more things change,
the more they remain the same.
Just another divisive election.
Then he'll call another handshake. So in a case that
the problem is now if he loses now, there's no handshake. Because even his ground will be telling him now every day you've been taking a spear to go and hunt and you'll be coming home with twigs, with leaves. Wapi mbuzi? Wapi sungura? You know? Can't be coming home and you're taking a spear and then you're going to hunt. Every day you come and say, you know what happened? I went there and then somebody came. I could see the swara, but you know IBC kachukua swara sijui nini.
Aliniambia ngoja swara kidogo aje tuongee.
Swara ilikuliwa na crocodile huko tukienda Egypt. No. People will get tired of these stories at some point, you know.
So if these guys don't come together and they go head to head.
And he will lose. Baba will lose.
If they go head to head with
Baba will lose. And once he loses, the magic of with his support, with his base, will be gone. Because those guys are not stupid. They are among the most intelligent in this country.
So they'll not pull another Machozi Monday.
Kuna zero. Watambia baba sasa wewe. Tunakupenda lakini tunajipenda zaidi.
We loved him but God loved him more. So now, these guys, if they work together, then head to head.
The only thing is avoid head to head. I'm very happy that my good friends, Musalia Mudavadi, Kalonzo Musyoka, Gideon Kipsele, and these are the one. Wetangula. They have come together. So let it be, sisi akina Moses Kuria hapo na baba na Ada William against these others. Tuwakule sosa.
Kuria, mambo yako ni ngumu sana. Haya, mambo yako sasa, shida sasa, kuna profesi yako ilianguka. Ulisema utasimamisha Reagan, kama Reagan ndiye imekupeleka mbio.
Wacha nikwambie. You know, for all intents and purposes, Reagan has stopped.
Reagan stopped where?
Yes, kuna people playing rhythm and blues wanasema ni Reagan, lakini Reagan stopped. Kitambo. Sasa you think Reagan because I'm county assemblies, sijui ka grant, halafu kupiga kura na napoa 200,000, ndio ipite. You know, I'm leaving for some events, you know, huko nje every time, and I talk to people. I know Malanchi, I know where they are. So it may appear to be winning, but that's not Reagan.
Yeah, but you see,
even in the final,
let's be honest. You said the other time, you said that it will not even pass in the county assemblies. It will not get the support at least in the county assemblies. It looks like it's wrecking it already. I was thinking even in your backyard, it looks like people are starting to dance.
I bought popcorn on this BBI issue. I'm just chewing popcorn. I don't give half a hoot how it goes. Wakipitisha ni sawa. See, they are creating positions. Kwani me, I don't want position. Si wale watengeneza tutakalia. So it's okay. But me, my only objection to BBI is this nominating 180 women. And I know because I talked to women in my constituency. I was there yesterday. You do not empower women because you have nominated 180 women. Sasa wewe paka lipstick, chukua handbag, enda huko. That will not change the lot of my women. It will not give them water. It will not give them electricity. It will not work for their school fees. I say I am the women of Gatundu because I'm the one who looks after the issues that are of concern to my women.
You are the women of Gatundu.
I am voted for 95% of women in Gatundu vote for me. I'm not particularly very handsome. Yeah,
so you are the women, okay.
The issues that matter to women, to my women, I remove them tungi from their bags. I remove this karambai from their sitting rooms. Yeah? I remove them. I save them from having harambes to build schools, to build dormitories and classrooms. So I'm the women rep.
You don't need any more women competing with you.
I don't need any more women rep. And let me give you a constituency like Suba North or Suba South, where Miri Odhiambo is a member of parliament. Miri Odhiambo is a main rep of Suba. Yeah, because the men vote for her because she looks after their issues. Do they say this one? Do they want now to have another rep for men? Yeah, because it's Miri Odhiambo who is a main rep. Yeah, because she's a woman, but she's supposed to work for both men and women. So nominating 180. And people keep telling me, you know, this is pesa kidogo compared to Easy and all those kind of things. So another guy told me the other day, why are you opposed to 180 women? It's only 2 billion a year. That is like one business deal. I said, my friend, it's not just the money. It's also something called the moral authority. Yeah? Like tomorrow, you know, we have a bloated civil service. One of the things I want to push in the next government, because I want to be in the next government, and one thing that I'll own single-handedly is that we have to rationalize our wage bill. Because, Gerald, from today, from morning to 1 p.m., you'll work for civil servants. Because even this recurrent expenditure, 52% of our money, even more, is salaries only. So it means that from morning to 1 p.m., you are working to pay 50 million people, 49 million people are working from morning to 1 p.m. to pay 1 million people. How fair is that?
Wow.
Yeah? 49 million are working for 1 million. Because that's how the money they raise through taxes to pay this akina sisi sasa 1 million. Unaona, 1 million. How stupid can the 49 million be? Simuungane against this 1 million.
And Jem Karaoke was actually killed for saying it's a country of 10 million beggars and 1 million millionaires.
Mimi nasema Kenya is a country of
10 millionaires.
49 million fools and 1 million conmen.
Yeah.
Yeah, because how can 49 million people work half a day, including you, to pay 1 million guys or 1 million of us only? Simujipende hata nyinyi. Eh? So we have to rationalize the civil service. We have to send some people home. We have to give them handshake, golden handshake, waanze biashara so that they can create jobs. But imagine now me, I'm pale kwa Ministry of Transport. I'm telling people there, you guys, you know, the wage bill is big. You know, we need to save money for development, for schools, for roads, for health, for blah, blah, blah. So please mchukue hii handshake kidogo, mwende nyumbani, and then you start businesses there, we'll support you, even we'll give you training for entrepreneurial skills, so that you mujisimamie. And look at me and say, Mheshimiwa Moses Kuria, unatuambia tuende nyumbani, so that you save wage bill. And you have just nominated 180 of you. Nitaambia watu nini?
Kichwa yako ni mzuri.
Kichwa yako ni mzuri.
Now,
so because of these 180 nominations, we lose the moral pedestal. We lose the moral authority. We lose the moral leadership to look at people in the eye and civil servants in the eye and tell them we are going to rationalize the civil service. I'll ask you, handshake was supposed to bring peace so that you don't have this blame game. How come handshake didn't focus on civil service reform? Because now, you know, now if you try to do civil service reform as one party, the other party will say, oh, huyu Uhuru hapendi watu, anafuta watu kazi. Now they are together. If handshake was genuine, it should have started by saying our first agenda, whether you are NASA, whether you are Jubilee, whether you are which party, our first agenda, we are uniting as a country to reduce the wage bill. Na mtu akifutupeenda nyumbani nisisikia akisema Wajaluo tunaonewa, Wakikuyu tuko namna hii, Mluya tuko namna hii, we are all united, Uhuru family, Raila family, we are united so that we can save this country.
The economy.
So we can save the economy. If reducing the wage bill and sending people on a golden handshake was the first product of BBI or handshake, I would be on the front line.
You'll be celebrating handshake.
Yes.
Now, I would want to bring you back to that discussion on the economy. But before that, I want to still take you back to BBI. You were in Kitui trying to stop reggae.
I was not trying to stop reggae.
Reggae which was trying to stop you.
Gil was trying to stop me.
It was trying to stop you.
Yeah.
All right. Gil was reggae.
Yes.
All right. So, it has changed from, how did you guys get from this thing will not pass, reggae must stop, to now, whatever happens?
You see now, we have got our own agenda of changing this country. And what we are saying as a Hazara nation, it may be today, It may be 5 years or maybe 10 years, but our day is coming. That's simple. That's our simple message. Our day is coming. Today you can bribe MCS to pass this thing. Even my prediction is, if it passes through county assemblies, it may even pass in the
national
in the referendum. Of course, National Assembly will pass. We have got 100 MPs and 300 cows, according to Junet. So what do you expect?
100 MPs and 300 cows.
Yes. So that's what Junet told us. So it will pass in Bunge. It will even pass with the Mwananchi because, not because it's popular, but people who don't like BBI will not go to vote. Apathy will be highest. So watu wataenda kwa kukamua ng'ombe zao, to pick tea, to deliver coffee to the factories. Wengine watakuwa I doubt it'll be anybody like Victoria that day.
Kwa nini imani na watu wa Victoria? Wote watakuwa wameenda kwa kura.
Kwa kura wakati huo. So people who like BBI will wake up to go and vote. People who don't like BBI will stay at home.
Mind their business.
Yeah. That's why you are saying, Mr. Hasra, it may not be today. It may not be in the BBI. But your day is truly coming.
All right, so let me ask you. This thing passes. And by good luck, because, I'm building up on your prophecy as well. That if Raila Odinga does not unite with William Ruto and they go head to head, William Ruto wins, right? And you've already told us as well that there are a lot of chances that BBI will pass.
Yeah.
Now, the BBI passes, you have the new constitution, and you win the government.
Yeah.
What will be the first thing that you guys will do?
As government?
Yes.
Of course, we have our pledge. You've made our...
With 180 whatevers, with, what is the first thing you guys will do?
We will cross that bridge when we come to it. It is not the only problem this government will leave us. It will pass BBI, and people will remember me. You will remember me. And I wanted you to keep this on record, that Kenyans will regret, because the minute mnasikia we are going to the first tender, itakuwa ya kutafuta pahali ya kuhang bags 180 women. You're your first tender of the other government.
Tender ya kwanza in the coming government, nukutafuta mahali pa kuweka handbag.
Kuweka handbags, sababu ile iko with 180 women. It's not the only problem that we are going to inherit.
Yeah.
You look at our debt situation, I think by next year, we'll be somewhere in the region of 12 trillion. That is like 12% of our GDP. Yeah, if we are a 10 billion dollar economy, $100 billion economy. So you can say that we are going to be somewhere like in the region of 12%, of our GDP in debt. Debt servicing will be a big issue. It's something that even me, before I sleep, I pray for this country first. And then I also think, what are we going to do to clean up this mess? Yeah, to Tanza wapi. So it's quite burdensome, and we can only ask for the grace of God to give us the energy and the wisdom.
That's what I want to
to not only clean the mess that we BBI and all this borrowing is going to leave us, but also to deliver our promise to invert the pyramid. Because that's really our agenda. Because our promise and our core philosophy, why I work with William Ruto for personally, is because we share that vision that we need to reinvert the pyramid by putting the people of the bottom first, those issues first, and not the top 2-3% up there. And by the way, people think it's a question of equitability. No, it's not a question of equitability. It's not a question of sharing. It's a question of production.
You cannot share what you've not produced.
Tell me, some people are going through, some people are going in my constituency, in my region, telling people, now BBI, utapewa basari, mtoto wa kule kwa duale anapewa. What nonsense is this? That we need BBI to give bursary. And let me ask you something. When I went to school, there was no CDF even. My parents were being charged something called development fee. We were paying school fees. There was no bursary, there was no CDF. What's the difference between then and now? Who do you give bursary? Poor people or rich people? You give to poor people. Yeah. How can you go and tell people to celebrate poverty instead of asking them to ask themselves why they are poor.
Why they cannot pay school fees.
How come then we are affording? Are we going forward or moving backward? My father would deliver coffee to Magomano Coffee Factory, member number 402, and pay for my school fees. My mother used to sell bananas here in Kawangwale Market and pay for my other school fees, even my university fees. How come now the parents of today, our generation, we can't take coffee and pay for school fees?
Or milk.
We can't take milk and pay for school fees. A woman cannot go to Kawangwale Market and sell bananas and get enough money. Another woman cannot go to Nyamakima and do her business peacefully and pay for her school fees. Why is there a need for people to come for bursary? And instead of asking that question, we are telling them, celebrate BBI, Mr. Mount Kenya, it will give you more bursary. Instead of asking, why does this hard-working guy require bursary? And we tell them that it's a good thing. Ushenzi.
What should be the conversation? Production?
Production. My friend, tuko na watoto 20 kwa nyumba. Na tuko na half a kg of unga. How can we have more unga to feed these 20 children? Otherwise, they will start fighting in the house. Naturally, that's what will happen. Yeah. And then we will say, why are you fighting? Why can't you be cohesive? Why can't you be one united country?
We'll donate unga.
And it's only a quarter of unga they are fighting, but it's natural. We don't give people enough to eat. We don't give people enough water. So people are fighting over water in Mau and all those other places.
Capedo.
Yeah, Capedo. Yeah. And then we wonder why. And then we think a document is going to make us cohesive. My foot. Until we focus on production. Until we bake more cake. But getting people to be preoccupied with the distribution of the small cake, the mega cake that we have, and trying to create we are trying to heal fissures of the past. You create another one because you want to hide the fact that you have not helped people. The fact that our people who are there, our fathers who are here before us, were doing a better job than us of helping our people to be self-reliable. So mimi nakuja pale naambia vijana mjisimamie, mjisimamie. Mimi nimeshindwa kujisimamia, nimeenda kutafuta kazi huko bunge. And then I'm telling people, vijana hapa mjisimamie. Yeah? So really, we need to have an honest conversation. And by the way, once I enable that guy at the bottom of the pyramid to have something to take home, yeah, to have some bread for the day. Where he got bread, he produced. Where he produced, we have better economy. Produce and also focus on export. We can't have money just zungukaing between me and you, and then me to you, you to me. We have to break the vicious cycle. Where is export promotion in this BBI rubbish? Where is it? So at least I know I'll get my avocados to China, and so therefore there's some new money that will come to me and my people of Gatundu. Yeah, that was not here with us, just zungukaling among ourselves.
So you feel the problem is the economy, not the document, not the constitution.
Economy. It's economy. Even when people fight the economy, why do people, I have worked in countries where there is no politics, but equally people their stomachs are full. Yeah? But the minute, instead of focusing on how we produce, we're just focusing, kwa nini huyu anapigana na huyu mwingine? Ni kitu kimoja, ni njaa. Why do we fight after elections? Ni njaa. If this guy of Kibra ambaye anangoa reli, kama angekuwa na something meaningful to do, would they be ngowing the reli? Where will we have the time? I look forward to the day when I will go to Gedorai or to Kibra or to my favorite hometown of Kondere, and I tell people to go and do something. They tell me two things. One, we are busy. We are tuko kwa jua kali, tuko kwa factories, we are in this and that. Sorry, ujisote leo. Aba ya pili waniambie, leta mtoto yako aende kwa front line atupe mawe. That's the idea you look forward to in this country. But we have come to believe in voodoo or witch doctor politics. And witch doctor politics is some people who consult witch doctors. When they go to a witch doctor, he must give them an answer. See, you have paid, so you deserve an answer. Mm-hmm. So mimi nikienda nini mtoto wangu nini hanisikii huko nyumbani, anakuambia unaweza kuwa na jirani yako. Even before he tells you, Gerald Bito. That's what we are doing. That's what all we are doing in this country. Shida yako nini? Oh, si unajua William Ruto. Si unajua iko namna hii. Si unajua northeastern people. You know they don't like us. Unajua sisi hatupendwi. Ni hiyo tu ya uganga politics. Witch doctor politics. Where you have to get a villain. A person to be a villain for our problems. I refuse. I'm not boarding. I'm not buying that one.
You're not boarding that.
I am not going to look at other people as my fellow citizens in this country as a problem. I want to look at what we are not doing as a problem.
There's something Kisiangani said when he was here last, and he said that the first business of the incoming government will be to tell them that the proposals in this document are not possible, like the 35%. He said the first business, that is the reason why I asked you, in a case that you take the government, do you change the constitution again? He said the first business will be to tell them that it's not possible. To implement these things is not possible. So, a government that will have Moses Kuria next, what will be the first thing that you tell the people?
You've heard my views about this document, and I'm going to offer myself for election. And so the next election is a referendum of whether we should implement BBI.
That will be the next thing.
Yes.
When you take over government?
2022, watu wakinichagua, wanajua whatever I'm not happy with. It will be
ukiingia kwa biashara, kazi ya kwanza ni referendum ya BBI tena. Ya kureverse BBI.
Ya kureverse, but there are many wonderful things in BBI. Lakini kama hiyo 180, I swear to God, hata ikipita, the next government, the first business, I am calling for referendum kutoa hiyo nominations. Na Wakenya wataamua. Sasa hiyo kutakuwa na issue ingine. Hiyo tu.
Na watu watakuwa wameenda return.
I don't mind about 35% whether it is there or not there. I'm not buying that argument. Because wacha ikuwe hapo kama deni. If it's a good thing. I'm not worried about that one. Honestly speaking, I don't see anything wrong with 35. I know some of my colleagues even in Tanga are saying, oh, you know that 5%, today we are not raising 15%. You know, wacha ukuwe na deni yangu. Yeah, wacha wae.
Nijuange tu na kudai.
Ujue na kudai. So I don't see anything.
Hata kama utaleta ni sawa.
Hata kama utaleta, it will be written somewhere that we can auction government.
Ukilala usiku unasema at least kuna kadeni.
Serikali kuna pesa yangu 35%. Yeah.
Hata kama utaiona.
Hata kama utaiona.
For consolation purposes.
For consolation purposes. Na pia kwa balance sheet. Ndio andika kama receivables. Selo.
35%. And let's talk about it. You're an economist. And
Yes.
There's a conversation that has been going on. There's something you talked about, the bloated executive.
Yeah.
The other day, the president did new appointments. Last week, he did new appointments. And he has added CSS. There are ministries which are even having in an excess of 4 CSS. Chief Secretary, Administrative Secretary, I don't know who those people are. And this is at the point when the government is saying it cannot even afford to run its own budget. All right? This is a time when IMF is telling us you need to slim down your operations. You need to live within your means. You need to close up parastatals. What's your feeling about the decisions that are being made in this government?
You know me, my question to this government, one thing I like about this new CS is that they are young. And they represent the future and the promise of this country. When I look at people like Mase Mwangangi, I look at people like some of them wamekaliwa huko hata hatuwajui. I meet them in some events and anaambia haunijui mimi ni CS. I've never seen them or met them or felt them. And I'm a legislator and I've never met them.
And that is what will be happening in the next bunge.
Imagine. Even this one now, I meet some people. I'm kitu kwambia mimi ni mbunge kama wewe bwana. You know.
It cannot get to us.
It cannot get to us, you know. So, but my question is, why can't you make David Osiani to be the CS for industrialization? Because he's capable. There's people who came after us in our student leadership in the University of Nairobi. I know David Osiani is capable of not just doing karaoke, but also, you know, running a ministry.
Karaoke.
Yeah.
He used to do karaoke.
Yes, he's a good, you know. He used to do for us karaoke at Kenya National Theatre, so I know him more as my good friend. So why can't you tell Betty Maina go home and you make David Osiani CS if you believe in them? Why? You just give them these musical chairs of things to go reading statistics. Kusema how many COVID cases, you know? Why, if you really believe in them? Huh? Why can't you make them CSs? Why can't you make them PSs where they become accounting officers and they have the energy and the drive? And then you mentor them. So you're just calling people CS, they are doing nothing. In fact, my favorite CAS is Zach Inuthia. Since he goes firing headmasters, exercising powers.
At least he was trying to keep himself busy. He was trying to find his space.
To sports and maybe ataita Gor Mahia ikishindwa wachape kiboko. So it's okay, chapa watu. Make yourself effective hata kama hiyo kiti yako sababu ni kiti bure. Hata kama ina powers, give yourself powers to don't have.
Allocate yourself powers.
Because just giving people some this feel good factor. Oh, you are CS, you are this, you are that. It's a con game.
So what do you think goes on in the mind of Uhuru Kenyatta when he's making those decisions?
Of course, Uhuru is trying to balance between so many people who don't know about how this country is. And I'm saying this because you worked with Uhuru Kenyatta for many years. A wonderful gentleman, a great listener, very consultative person.
But you're saying he doesn't listen to you anymore.
Very consultative person. Sasa nitauliza baba when I meet him next. Ulileta nini wewe baba? We want our Uhuru back.
Alikuwa anasikianga kitambo kabla baba.
Very consultative. Can I tell you something? In 2011, it's 10 years ago, Uhuru was a Minister for Finance. And he was to lead the first budget under the new constitution. So Parliament, the budget committee led by Honorable Elias Bau, who was MP for Maragua at that time, they said Uhuru cannot, there's no budget speech in provision in the new constitution. So he read the budget in his office in Treasury. The amazing thing of that budget is that those people of us who are working with Uhuru said, I don't want to see you guys technocrats. We've had enough of you. Wait for us to finish as laymen so that then you can now move in. Oh, you remember economic stimulus? That's when we brought those things. Wonderful things, I don't know, water harvesting, real things that can, practical things that are doable. That is a time when he was praising high premium on people, because people who know what Mwananchi wants. But now, the government is packed of like babies. Ukiwaambia what is poverty, they Google poverty. They have no first-hand experience. They're trying to treat a disease they only see on Google. Yeah? And you think that things will be the same.
So what changed then?
The government is only as good as people who are there.
So when did he start changing?
Well, I think two things. One, influx of so many technocrats. And not just technocrats who have got no direct touch with the Mwananchi. There's nothing wrong with being a technocrat. I've told you my life, I've been a technocrat. But I cannot Google about poverty. I cannot tell you poverty from sisi ni mabeshti.
Na umaskini.
So I know because we have come Kajale together.
You've come far.
It's not that I'm proud of it. Takatu wachane na huyo aende huko mimi niende huko. Lakini I know it only too well, so it is spontaneous the way we would approach things. And the second thing is handshake. Whatever the good intentions was, we have lost 5 years. We have lost the momentum. We no longer talk about roads. We no longer talk about water. We no longer talk about schools. We no longer talk about electricity connections. We no longer talk about things that mean something to the people who voted for us and for the Jubilee Promise. Because people are not crazy or people are not mad. We did not grow like mushrooms from nowhere as a government. It's because we had a manifesto which we took to the people. And we told the people of this country, this is what we do for you. So just come and abandon it. It is like you have played wonderful football in the first half. When we come back to the second half, you start playing rugby. How now?
All right. Now, last week the president had a very big meeting at Cedros of cabinet meeting, and the deputy president was not there. The deputy president is your friend, and you've also mentioned rightfully that the president is also your friend. What is going on between your two friends?
Well, I think that, again, some people are hell-bent because there's somebody who calls the cabinet meetings. That cabinet has a secretary. And in most of these cases, you find it is the guy who goes for the cabinet meetings. He didn't even ask the president, do I call this one or not? Huyo ni aliyekuwa. Yeah? Now I hear they want to even appoint someone, call them a VP at a, executive order. Anyway, kuteseka ni kwa muda. That's all I can say.
So the nini inaendelea? Because it's not like the president is not aware that this is
well. I think because it's not for not trying. I know the president has put in a lot of effort. to repair the relationship with the deputy president. I know they have had several meetings. The president has tried extremely well under very strenuous, very traumatizing circumstances. So I know the two of them have tried. So we can only say that, I'll give you a story, Gerald, about a couple in my place. The man was Kamau and the woman was Wanjiku. So neighbors went to Kamau and asked Kamau, how do you live with this woman, this wife of yours? He said, why? Don't you know she's mad? And not only she is mad, her family, they have got that history of madness. So this guy was like, oh, how come we are living with this woman all these years? And then the same neighbors went to Wanjiku. And they told Wanjiku, up to now you still live with this man who has got a nundu, a handbag. Mm-hmm. So how come we sleep in the same bed? I would have seen. And they convinced, no, you don't see properly. So one day, the Wanjiku thought that the reason she does not see the nundu is because of darkness. So she timed when Kamau was sitting in the homestead and attacked him and tried opening the shirt to see the nundu. And then Kamau said, the madness I was told. Here it is. Yeah. So that's how they ended up. That's what happened between Uhuru and Ruto. Blame it on the villagers. Mmoja anatafuta nundu, mwingine anasema kichadi ile niliambiwa. I do hope that I do hope.
So you've said that
I hope that they will come back together. Mm-hmm. And I do hope they will come back together.
But you've also
and
said
I don't just hope and pray and leave everything to God. I will do whatever I can humanly do to try and ensure that.
How many marriages do you want to repair, Moses? Do you want to repair a marriage between Raila Odinga and William Ruto? You want to repair a marriage between
I'm preparing myself for political career in counseling, So.
So which one will you start repairing? Unaweza kurepair gari ndio uweze kurepair nyingine.
Mungu anafanya maajabu yake.
Whichever comes first.
Whichever comes first. But what I'm saying is, me, I care for this country. I don't give a damn what I become, what person I am. I don't give a damn about that. I just want us to have a good country. When I look at my children, I want to have us to have. I really, really don't give a damn about even who is in leadership. But I really ask myself, if kama leo mimi na wewe tunateseka, what kind of a country are we going to leave to our children? For me, that's very important. And I can lose everything to ensure that we have a country which... and you have that opportunity. That's the other thing. Wazungus, foreigners, Chinese, they come here and say, wow. Sometimes I told you I've worked for a decade in the Middle East. Sometimes I look at this country of ours. If you just remove it and you praise it to the Middle East or for those people with the oil money and all that, this is a paradise. Kenya is a paradise. Kenya can be a very successful country in the world, not just, you look at some of the things we've done, M-Pesa, for example. Other countries say, when I grow up, I want to have M-Pesa like Kenya, because of how far we have traveled. Look at the assets we have in this country. Look at our human capital. Look at our people. Look at our, our the determination and the energy of our people. Look at our talents. Look at our athletics. We have so much going for us. I do believe if we stop all these nonsenses, if we stop having the wrong conversation, if we start putting the foundation for driving this country forward, we can leave a country for our children which is better than the one we live now. Not like today when I've told you we are trumpeting, giving people bursary, when our Jomo Kenyatta, even Moi's time, even beginning of Kibaki's time, our parents were affording those things without or whatever, without bursaries. And now we are trumpeting about bursary. So we live in a country that's worse than our founders. We can leave a better country for our children than what we have found.
Uhuru Kenyatta has a Ghana meeting. He had a Ghana convention in Nyeri. And you guys dismissed him. You said the Ghana was not going to work. And it looks like you even in record for calling President Akanyao kamekaukiwa.
I did not call the President Akanyao. So
Zao paka imekauka. Ukiona paka amekaukiwa.
Wewe ndio ile story ya
Usifikiri Desemba.
Nimekuona YouTube mayureni.
So ni nani ulikuwa unasema ukiona paka amekaukiwa usifikiri Desemba.
President. He is also my voter. Yes, he went and took a pen and voted Moses Kuria. So a vote is a precious thing.
For that reason, you have to protect your voter.
Yes.
So do you feel is making through his promise that he's going to reclaim Mount Kenya to himself?
I don't know about reclaiming Mount Kenya. He has never lost Mount Kenya. You cannot reclaim what is not lost. He's the president of Mount Kenya and of the whole Kenya. Since when did he stop? Ama mulitonyanganya president nyinyi.
No.
Last time I remember on the 8th of whatever and 26 we voted for a president. Mount Kenya and other people. So
watu wanaso walisema mliwaibia kura wakaibia rais.
So the president is still the president of Mount Kenya, and like he's a president of other regions, and we try to insulate him from our politics, our regional politics. Our president is too high, too senior up there for him to be, I don't know, atijui kiongozi ya Wakikuyu. Hata mimi mwenyewe siku hizi you call me leader of Kikuyu, so I'm feeling ashamed kiasi. I turned 50 last week. So I'm feeling nimezeeka sana kwanza kuitwa tu kiongozi wa kabila fulani. Na mimi ni kamtu kadogo. Wacha zabuze rais. So the president is a big person. He's the head of state. He's the head of government. He's the commander in chief.
Are you sure you're not trying to be politically correct?
Oh.
You.
No. Maybe to leta katiba. Tell me I'm saying which is wrong.
I think you and Baba, you're too smart. Mukona muchoro.
No, I'm just saying it is sad when some people tell Uhuru, oh, you are the leader of Mount Kenya, you are the leader of Kikuyu. What about in watu wanini?
But that is what he's doing. When he retreated to Sagana.
Who is the leader of Kabras people?
When he retreated to Sagana to go and speak.
No, who is the leader of people from Kabras? Pale Marava.
I don't know.
Who is the leader of people of Shamakoko? Nani pale nini?
They're still negotiating.
They're
still negotiating.
People negotiate mtu yao. Come on, tuache hii mambo mengine bwana. The president is the president of Kenya and the symbol of national unity.
So why did he have to retreat? Why did he have to retreat to Sagana and have that conversation with the Kikuyus that I want to protect your interests and to do this and this?
Do you know how presidential diary is planned?
How is it planned?
Inapangwa, utaamka, you will shower, utavaa shati ya blue, itakuwa na some boxes, madoadoa, utaamka, ndege itakugoja pale, utaamka pale, utapokelewa na watu wengine ambao hata hawajui. You know, presidential programs are programmed by people.
So you're saying that Sagana it
was a bad idea.
Na akaambiwa uende useme hivi.
You know, before it became Sagana, compare this. Between 2008 and 2012, we had 3 meetings in Limuru. Limuru 1, Limuru 2A, and Limuru 2B, as we are calling it, to guide the future and the path of the Kikuyu community or the Gema community as we approach 2013. And Uhuru Kenyatta was a product of that's when he said he's our undisputed. Sagana cannot replace Limuru. Sagana is a seat of power. Sagana community is not somebody's property. Sagana is a property of the state. Sagana state cannot own community. That's a whole difference. Kama ni wakati sisi tuko kusema huko, tukimwambia turudi wapi?
Turudi
Limuru. A civilian place. Sagana iko na buduki, my friend. Unafikiria watu wanaongea huko kwa sababu ya kupenda? Ni buduki bwana.
Ni woga.
Unasema bibi ni mzuri ama si mzuri? Unaangalia buduki ni mzuri sana.
So kwa nini ukuitwa Sagana? Moses Kuria.
No, you know Sagana. Sagana was like even I sometimes compare Sagana with Kesha. Unajua this religious Kesha. You know, hata Kesha, you know, you invite people who are saved and those who are not saved. Tukihubiriwa na tuwaambia tunauliza nani anataka kuokoka? Tuseme ni mimi. This one don't even have those convertees. Only the saved ones. So people who believe in the same thing themselves. I call it Sagana was incest. Yeah, because you know, same guys, they have the same, you know, same ideas, same philosophy, same ideologies, and then they speak to themselves. Hey, that's how you are united. And they were united even before they went there. Come on. See, afadhali uite mtu who is not converted. So say, nani nataka kuokoka? Moses Kuria say, hey, ndio mimi huyo mkono juu, piga magoti tukuombe.
So ungefika Sagana uone hizo bunduki ungeokoka?
Mimi? Acha tuatie.
Labda sasa ndio Gogo unasema bibi haito. Labda Gogo ndio unasema bibi.
That's what I'm saying. Ipita isipite mimi acha bunduki tuondokeane kwanza. Day of Hustlers is coming. It may not be next year, but it's coming as sure as day follows next.
So there's a conversation that's been running in Central Kenya. Anyway, you're very sly. But anyway, let's get back to this. There's been a conversation in Central Kenya that there is an apathy against the Uhuru Kenyatta's administration, or this kind of displeasure.
I used to think so until I traveled to other parts of the country and I found the same apathy. So I call me sly, but I don't think it's different from those people you told me about in Kitui. Who would have thought that people in Kitui, Charity Ngilo tasema nifukuzwe, na watu wa Kitui wanasema Moses Kuria apewe kiti. Is Kitui in Mount Kenya?
No, it's not.
Huh? Ask yourselves why are these people? Because there's like a story that's not coming out. And it's so convenient to box it and to see it as a Mount Kenya issue. No. It's a story that's coming in this country. It's like, conveniently, we have been used to this conversation of this guy at the bottom of the pyramid. It is bananas. You ripen it for 5 years. After 5 years, you remove it and you eat it. Yeah? Wakati wa uchaguzi. And now people are refusing to be bananas. And those people who are used to the banana era, they are fighting, what's wrong with these bananas? All these years there's some unfortunate people in this country who still believe in wife battering or beating wives. That's why you have to campaign against it. So there's these guys who anachapa bibi all through. Then siku moja bibi anamchapa kofi. What's wrong with you? How come Peter have not answered all this time, So
the Kenyans
are changing. Kenyans are slapping back. Kenyans have refused to be bananas. They have written a memo to us leaders. The only difference is wengine wetu tumesoma, wengine bado. Hawajapata hiyo memo. Hawajapata memo. I do hope
sitakuuliza unajaribu kusema nani.
I do hope that when they read the memo, I hope it will not be too late.
Now let me ask you, the president has on several occasions, including last week in Kayole, he keeps telling us that hii kitu narekebisha sio yangu kwa sababu mimi sitakuwa. And people are arguing that if you have to keep telling us that you will not be there, then it means there's something. There's no. What are the benefits? Because there's someone who was saying even Kuria last week meant that Uhuru Kenyatta is trying to do a put-in on us. What do you think? What does the president? So. What business does the president have?
I don't think so.
Because it was not going to. Ama kulikuwa na manifesto kwa Jubilee.
I don't think so. Let me say something about the Uhuru Kenyatta. I don't think Uhuru Kenyatta, in his demeanor and his upbringing, would want to usurp power and continue. He would not want to be the first one in history. Hata Moi hakufanya hivyo. Kibaki hakufanya hivyo. Mzee Jomo Kenyatta ambaye alikuwa mbunge wa ile kiti ambao nimekalia. He didn't do that. It is God who took him peacefully. I don't think, and take it from me and write somewhere, I don't think Uhuru would want to be the first president to usurp the constitution. He would not want.
So what business does he have in a constitution?
Uhuru, most of the things that he's talking about in this constitution or whatever, he believes in them genuinely that they are going to help Kenya. Some may not, because we are all human beings. And to be president does not mean you are infallible. But it does not also mean that you have bad intentions. We can only argue whether your idea or my idea is the right one. Like me, I'm saying that conversation is not the right one. We need to have a different conversation about jobs and expanding the economy and baking more cake and letting people, empowering people, wajisimamie waje tu kutegemea basari, ensuring people come for basari with shame. It's with shame.
Utake kuonekana.
Hata kuonekana because it's something.
Kama kuendea
msaada. Nilizaa watoto ambao siwezi lea. So I'm only saying let us have that conversation because wazazi wetu walituzaa na wakatulea. Wakati huu wanatuzaa hawawezi kutulea na sio because they are lazy. There's something we have not done for them. There's an environment we've not done. There's an empowerment we've not done. Let's have this discussion. That's the only thing I'm saying. Does that mean that Uhuru Kenyatta has bad intentions? No. Does that mean that he's wrong? No. This is not a competition between right and wrong. It is a competition between two rights. They are right, we are right. It is a difference of priorities. Yeah.
But let's have a consensus, a right consensus.
On priorities,
Right,
on what
on
we need to do, all need to put there on top of it.
So the president has continued to insist that his legacy is it's no longer about the big four, he's now saying, kamoja tu kamebaki, I just want to live a united country. That seems to be very elusive at this point, because there seems to be more divides even than he got the country. What do you think is the legacy the president is going to leave in 16 months?
First 5 years. His legacy stopped in 2017. But it was so strong, it will outlive him for many years to come.
Faster.
My friend, unajua ile barabara tumejaga hii Kenya?
Barabara na iko, lakini kickbacks zenye imekuliwa pia kwa hizo barabara ni
yeah, well, there's no receipt for kickbacks. There's no ETR receipt for kickbacks. So you not come and whatever. But there is a receipt for development, because the barabara is there. Where's kufundika na blanketi? Yeah? It will always be there. Do you know the things we've done on electricity in this country?
Yes.
Do you know we have doubled NHIF from 2.3 million people to around 6 million people? And if we kept that momentum, instead of handshake, we could be now doubling 12 million. So I'm saying the legacy is solid and it's there. But if I was president, me nalala too. Yeah? Let those things run, because his legacy was solid. His legacy was secure. The first 5 years, the takeoff was much better than even all the previous governments. Unfortunately, there's something called politics in this country. And there's something called a feel-good factor. Because leadership is about tuning people to a certain path.
So right now it's feeling good, but there's no legacy.
Yeah? It's leading people to see a certain path. And we successfully got people to believe in this path of development. So when we came back in the second half, tukachana na football, tukaanza rugby, tukachana na mugidi, tukaenda dombolo. Yeah? That's the problem. Because also people come with you. Na watu wanasema, wewe unatuchanganya bwana. Unatuchanganya. Si ulituambia ni maendeleo. Si ulituambia ni stima. Si ulituambia ni barabara. Si ulituambia ni maternity. For free maternity for our mothers.
Mtambia tuweke mabibi mimba sasa.
Sasa
mimba iko lakini hakuna serikali.
Utafanya hiyo nyingine. Tumalizie yetu kwa kitanda. What I say now. Sasa
tunafika na unasema tena hiyo maneno iko.
Hapana, sijui handshake, sijui nini. Sijui unity. My friend, what better uniting this country than the fact that when we got into government in 2013, we had 100 and something MPs. By the time we went to 2017, we had 220-something Jubilee MPs. Did you know that in Kakamega County, Jubilee got more MPs than ODM? Mm-hmm. Yeah?
That's true. Yes.
Do you know in Kisii County, ODM does not have a single MP? In Kisii and Nyamira counties. Not a single ODM MP. Because we were progressing. Jubilee was the best way we were uniting this country. Would it have come at it? Unity is not an event you call at Uhuru Park. Now come. Na sasa hapo tuko united, makofi vigelegele. Hapana. It's not an event.
It's a process.
It's a process. You consistently do the right things. Most important.
Until people find no reason to
bake more cake. Continue expanding the economy. Continue ensuring that every Kenyan can afford food for their families. Continue ensuring Kenyans can afford, money for their hospitals. Continue ensuring Kenyans can pay school fees for their children. And they will all be united. Automatically. Sababu mimi nasemanga hakuna njaa ya Mluya ama Mjaluo ama Mkikuyu ama Mkaleji.
Njaa ni njaa.
Njaa ni njaa. Na siku watakasirika, utatafuta Mkikuyu na Mkaleji utakosa. Siku watakasirika, and I hope we'll do the right things before we get there. Before we get there.
All right. So you feel the only legacy the president has is in his first term. This second term, there's no legacy.
But it was also solid. Savings zake. The first half. Even if he squanders some mapennies huko na Raila in the second term, he still have some very good base of savings at the end of his term.
Unajua ukiingia club kama umeanza na Mugidi vile umesema, alafu umalize na Ndombolo ni uende ulale, ile kitu inembanga kwa kichwa ni Ndombolo. Huwezi kumbuka Mugidi.
That's a problem, but the truth is the truth. You will not remove from your history that ulikuwa unacheza Mugidi. But I hear you. You're right.
But the good effect, at least in this tulikana Mugidi.
But sociology is a very important part of management. Mimi nimesomea management na biashara na economy. How come tunafundisha mambo ya sociology na psychology na behavioral science?
Na ni pesa mnashughulika.
Na mambo ya pesa. Kwani pesa ina behave? Yeah?
Kwani pesa iko na stress?
Kwani pesa iko na stress? Ndio tusomee behavioral science ya pesa. Pesa, you know, it is because in everything you do, managing people, managing an economy, managing a country, it is very important you know how people think and how you are going to win their hearts and minds to support you in the journey you want. But you cannot, because you don't do that, you will be left doing what some people are doing. Nyinyi, mutajuta, mutafanya, unaambia nani, my friend? Watu hataki kusomewa bwana. You go opening people like cows to give them medicine. Watasema, you know,
kunywa na hiyo dawa mnakunywa.
Unajua, something I get from my Masai friends, you know when they slaughter cows, the part Masais like most is the head. You can have everything that they value, the tongue, the what. So they say Masais, because of madharau, waliacha kichwa hata kama imenona. You can imagine what it would take a Masai to leave the tongue of a cow, but they left because of madharau. People, what happened madharau? By nature. You know, the other day I was speaking in huko Mangu, in, you know, it's Amfino huko, and I talked some things and people thought I was against anyone. When Munya was inviting, imagine the deputy president invited Munya to speak. And he still found the words. I was asking, how do you find the words? Sasa ni heshima yangu na taadhima kumwalika waziri Munya akuja hutubia na wasome risala ya rais. And I mean, you don't need to be friends with someone. But that thing called madharau, people hate it. Not me. And when people walked out of that film, people said, I paid those people, which is rubbish. It's so convenient to say Moses Kuria has paid those people. But people hate madharau naturally. Kwani what money do I have to pay all those people?
Na kuna dogo ananuanga hiyo.
Kama ningewalipa, so who came for the funeral? It means no one was there for the funeral. You know, but it's so convenient. So, hiyo ni kulipo, hiyo ni nini? Instead of they lose an opportunity to ask themselves, what are the social dynamics? That's what I'm talking about. Sociology, psychology, behavioral science is something that this government needs to study, even as you do BBI and all those, because people want to be treated in a certain way, and you cannot go far ahead of the people, even if you are a leader. Yes, you should make a decision. This is where I want to take the people, but now to get them there where you want them to be takes a lot of sociology, psychology, and behavioral science, and you need it. You need the software as much as you need the hardware. You need the operating system as much as you need the hardware. The computer will not function. So I just hope people can really see,
so that is what is lacking in
see the penny drop. I hope they can smell the coffee and actually ask themselves, how are they doing? How is our salesmanship? You know, because now this thing of pointing fingers, wagging finger at people, nyinyi mtajuta, mtafanya nini? Mimi sitakuweko, wewe ndio utasafa. People say, boss, relax. Tuongee,
usione Simba.
What are you saying? Convince us. We are not impaired. We can, understand. Yeah.
Utajua, kwanza siku hiyo utajua Simba kimeshoa Sipaka. Haya, let's talk about parliament.
Yeah.
Toothless dog. There's a lot of crazy things that happen. What's going on in parliament?
There's no parliament.
Parliament ilienda.
My friend is gone. It's gone. I've told you we have got 150 MPs and like 250 Raida's cows or whoever's cows. And that's what Junet told us. Hakuna bunge. Hakuna. We just mark timing. Na Mungu atusamehe kwa sababu ya kukula pesa yenu bure.
Amwezi wacha kukula. Uliko muombe msamaha mkikula. Ama njaa itawamaliza pia.
Ilikuwa imetabiriwa kutakuwa na wabunge. So tutakuwa Biblia. So
hata hivi ndio mtoko mnakula tena tu kama mko wengi na kutuambia tuwasamee.
But me personally, I cannot be part of a government that is going to emasculate parliament. I don't want to be part of that kind of government. Because you remember the days of
so what's happening?
You remember the days of Martin Shikuku?
Yes.
Chibule Watsuma.
When parliament was parliament.
Parliament was parliament. Chelagat Mutai. James Orengo one. Not this
not the second
synthetic version. That's the kind of, because all that discourse is what is going to, because nobody has monopoly of ideas. Tap to the wisdom of people. God created you imperfect so that you can grow, and you grow by reaching out to the talents of other people and to work with them How come God did not create you as an elephant? Unajua elephant today ni imezaliwa, kesho ni teenager, that is an adult.
Labda atafikiria ataninyang'anya pembe.
Yeah.
Kama ni yako.
How come God created you as a toddler who grow and grow? Because you need the whole world and the whole ecosystem, the whole society for people to grow. So when now you turn around and emasculate parliament, you muzzle the media, you want to control the judiciary, you are robbing yourself of the wisdom of the other thoughts. So you can now say, and the problem is, some people in this country, and I say in this government, in their heart they have never believed in democracy.
Never.
Democracy is a nuisance. Kwa watu wengine, democracy is a nuisance. Ni kitu, what? It's only for power. Give it about who are you to listen to Gerald B. talk? Who are you? See, I can just go and do. Democracy is so inconvenient. Discourse is so nauseating to some people. Wakitaka kufanya kazi na electric switch. Let it be right. But you are losing because once you embrace that other thought, I learned a lot from my colleagues. Just last week I sat with some MPs in Parliament in when we were having tea, and I found them engrossed in a discussion. And there was an MP from Samburu, there was an MP from Turkana, there was an MP from Kiambu, there was an MP from all over the country. And I thought they were discussing politics. They told me, Mheshimiwa, karibu atawe tuongee maneno tukaa chini. And we were discussing about education. And this thing of sharing of bursaries and who gets what. And they said, what about we make education completely free, so it is government which is paying, so it does not matter whether it is a child from Garissa or whatever. There is no this bursary discussion. Yeah. Then we talked about food. Oh, is food a necessity to send children home? This lunch for children. And the one from Samburu and Turkana said, you guys, for you, food is a luxury. For us, food is a necessity more than the classroom. And I was able to learn a lot by listening to the Samburu guy and the Turkana guy. And what about if I muzzle them? You must listen. Only Magoha knows about education in this country. Competence-based curriculum, CBC, has never been discussed in Parliament. We've never had a discussion. How is it doing? Tunasikiza tu Magoha atuambie. Now Magoha has picked another discussion. We make all schools day schools. As me, 90% of my work is education. And in my constituency, there is no school that I have not built a dormitory in secondary schools. Because I believe also they foster national cohesion. When I have got kids coming from I have dormitories I have built. I built some dormitory in a school called Nembu Girls. I went there to open the dormitory, the second dormitory. So when people are making speeches, something you can just ignore. One woman said, Mheshimiwa, tunataka kushukuru sababu umefungua macho yetu, tumeona mambo ambayo tulikuwa tumefanya. Mimi tangu ulete hii boarding ndio nimeona Mkisii for the first time in my life.
Kwani Mkisii anakaa jamaa?
No, you are born in a village.
Unless you've seen someone.
Unaenda shule kwa village, unalelewa kwa village, unakuwa kwa village, unazikwa kwa village. Utaonea Mkisii wapi? No matter hapo day school tu hapo. Yeah? When we Gatundu huko, But since I built dormitories in all my schools, it's a prison thing. I find I'm Jaruo, I'm Kalenjin and I feel great. And also now my society has opened up because of all this. And then Magoha wakes up one day at a boarding school. Just by himself. You don't know this story of this woman who has never seen a Kisi again, ever in their life. And he took from Jogo house up, tumemaliza boarding school. Just, what? That's why you cannot muzzle Parliament. You think it's for politics? You are messing this society. Yeah? Because me, I was able to learn something from my Samburu and my Turkana friends. Yeah? MP for Samburu East and MP for Turkana North. I learned from them that, food in their areas is not just a luxury, which you can say, mwalimu, usifukuze watoto sababu hana pesa lunch. Seme, afadhali chukue classroom uzuachie chakula. Tutasoma kwa mtiri, lakini chakula is important. My bursary goes to food for the children in school. How would I have known? Where would I have known? That's the beauty of democracy. That's the beauty of inclusion. That's the beauty of involving everyone. That's the beauty of letting everybody speak. And that's the folly of trying to control what comes out. And that's the folly of trying to emasculate Parliament.
So you believe Parliament has been interfered with? There's a lot of interference in Parliament.
Completely.
What exactly happened?
Now you have got Jubilee. We are 220. I'm talking about 2020. That's National Assembly. The ones now on our side is like 140. The outcast. When you tulinyang'anywa viti, I was a vice chair of transport. I was a ranking member of budget committee for 6 years. I was one of the most experienced. I used to add a lot of value in that budget. Because I was experienced. Sahi tuko Siberia huko, you know? Yeah? Simply because of the politics of the day. Let the politics of the day happen out there. But when we come to parliament, let's work. That is why it is called the parliament of the people of Kenya. Not of Raila Odinga or Uhuru Kenyatta or William Ruto or Moses Kuria. It's a parliament of the people of Kenya. And ile maombi tunaomba ile kwa standing order ile iko hapo. Tunasema God give us, because you have granted us the offices to serve the people of Kenya. Not to serve parties. That's the prayer we read every day. Tunasoma hiyo tukianza every session.
Mnaombanga lakini ingiange kwa roho.
Hata leo. Hiyo ndio tutaomba kwa hii bunge.
Lakini ingiange kwa roho.
For the honor and the glory you have given us, we the servants of our party leaders. That's what we should say.
We should change it from the people to the party leaders. So parliament is dirty water. And you are saying you want to fix it by adding more dirty water.
Imagine. If instead of trying to look how can parliament add more value? ROI, return on investment. How can we improve the ROI of parliament to the shareholders who are the people of Kenya? That should be the discussion.
But tunasema tuongeze
so that now some people want more nomination because you can fukuza Isaac Mwaura or Millicent Omanga or because they are nominated. So the more nominated we have, only mchoro. This is not a typo. Ni mchoro. So that you can have more nominated who can be told left is right, jump is how high. That's why people want to nominate it. It's not by accident. Some people want to continue controlling this parliament. That's why they want 180 nominated women. Nini? Angalia simu yenu. This is how you vote. On the issue of whatever, vote yes. Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
I vote yes.
Yes. That's what they want. That's all nominated.
So they want to use a nominated
a guy with
position.
a constituency, even if you force him, and they have been forced. But at least atauliza maswali because akona raia na wanamsukuma. But this guy 180 nominated have no one to ask. And auliza our God who is at party headquarters. Yeah. Our father who is at
so don't you think even instead of don't you think then that it was time to scrap off the nominated seat, because then clearly it's interfering with democracy.
Even before these bombers, the final bombers, we had scrapped the nominated. People are saying that, oh, you guys are fighting the 70, it is for equal. Me, I have no battle, I have no fight with the constituencies which come with resources and physical constituencies.
You have a problem with the nominated?
I have a problem with nominated. And you know it's not new for me. Even people are telling me, support BBI. I told them, how dishonest shall I be? Since 2015, I've been talking about wage bill. I've been talking about, the size of representation. I've been talking about Punguza Mzigo. Before even Nekuru was Punguza, I was a father. I'm the spiritual leader of Punguza Mzigo. Yeah.
Right.
How can I now change now? Surely. Even for those people who are telling me support BBI, spare me. Because I can't. It's just, this issue is too deep in my conscience and my principles. And, watoto watanichukulia aje. Wewe ndio ulisema hivi.
Kurudi nyumbani.
You know now. People who had me in 2015 saying Punguza Mzigo, I have a coordinator for Punguza Mzigo in every constituency in this country. Hata ukiingia kwa harusi, wanapewa nafasi kabla ya chief, tuchukue coordinator for Punguza Mzigo. Because there's something that Raia was saying. That's what they want.
You cannot turn on that.
Yeah.
Now, last week, Mwende Mwinzi went and proceeded with an assignment in South Korea as an ambassador. And the question is, the parliament refused to approve our appointment. But she still proceeded to go and perform her duties. Where does it leave parliament?
I'm trying to get legal counsel or explanation about what it stands. But let me give you my personal opinion. So I don't want to say about parliament being ignored or not ignored, because I'm trying to talk to parliamentary council as a leader, I need to give you answers. So I'm talking to the people who are paid by government to advise us, so they can tell me about the legalistics and whether there is contempt of parliament in this particular issue. However, I think we are missing the discussion. simply because Mwandamwizi has lived in the US. And you know, in the year 2010, I wrote a letter to Raila Odinga during the PNU ODM days. It was public and it was covered all over the media. It was a big thing. And I alerted him that there is a foreigner working in his office against the rules of this country. That foreigner was a certain guy who was born, who had a passport from Ontario, Canada, called Miguna, who was by that time an advisor to Raila, you know, or in the Grand Coalition government. And the then Minister for Immigration, my very good friend, Gerald Otieno Kajuang, he went on TV and said, you know, Moses Kuria is wrong. You know, he's trying to bring politics. Miguna is a Kenyan, blah, blah, blah. Then in 2010, we passed the constitution. And Miguna was with me in Naivasha when we were advising. And I told Miguna, no, look, on the issue of dual citizenship, I support. So that I don't have to come and tell you to leave Raila's office the way I'm doing now, you know. So we passed our 2010 constitution, which recognized, dual citizenship. Today, we have people in top echelons of Chinese government who are American Chinese. Because America has, even Trump's wife was president, he was an immigrant. We should be happy for our share. And I want to agree with somebody I really agree with called Makau Mutua, who tweeted yesterday. We want to tap diaspora money. Oh, you know, now we are 3 billion shillings every year. I know if we do the right things to tap money, not just for consumption, but also for investment, we can tap more money if we make diaspora feel they are part of this country. Now, we are denying a diaspora a chance to go and represent us out there, not here. No, you know, Mwandamwizi, and you know, she campaigned with me for Jubilee. She was in my campaign team called Bera Ikosawa. And I went to Mwingi West to campaign for her. And the people of Mwingi West, when she wanted to represent people here, gave her only 1,000 votes.
1,000?
Yeah.
1, 2,
so
3,
you don't want her to represent us here. And where she's even more qualified out there to represent, we don't want her to represent us.
Munataka nini
sasa? If you didn't want, you could have asked her to present us here. But now people didn't give her the chance. I think it's grossly unfair. I wonder whether it can happen to a man.
If she was
I'm
a man,
finding some gender bias on this particular
maybe
issue.
that is why we need more nominated.
Yeah, but I am willing to close my eyes on this issue. I am going to get my counsel from Parliament. But even yesterday I tweeted, I wished my friend Mwandamwizi very well. You know, she was supporting Kibaki from New York when she was in New York. She was one of our advisors during Kibaki's time, and I worked with her when she was in New York.
And you didn't
during Kibaki's time. That time we will not take Mwandamwizi's advice. When Kenya was getting bad PR,
so why have you not returned to Miguna? You're okay with Miguna being out, but you...
Miguna is beyond help, my friend.
Why?
I have told Miguna, give me the work. I board plane with my money. I come to Canada, I give you the passport and forms or whatever it is. Just a hapa. I return them. Surely, do you know how dangerous it is to have a country that does not have procedures? Much as we talk about respecting court orders. Why can't Miguna just do a small thing and fill the forms so that he can come and contribute to his country?
So unaona shida ni Miguna?
Miguna akicheza, by the time he realizes what he's doing, he comes back, he will only be the chairman of Law Council of Elders. You know? It will be too late for him. He'll be too old. There's nothing. Right now, he has got a role he can play to help this country.
Now, the government is legislating against you Siberia people, the Hustler Nation. They are saying you guys are the ones who want to finish this country.
Baba mekataa bwana. Tuko sawa.
So Baba amesema mmepona. Now, as we head to our tail end, now the question is, it's a season again, the season of long chains and the season of long legs in politics. Everyone wants to be president and all that. Migisa Kitui came there, you're already thrown in a jipe about his entourage. Now, these other guys again who are threatening again to be presidents. The ones you mentioned, the group that is in that corner, Kalonzo Musyoka, Mudavadi, Wetangula, and Gideon Moi. Also, Paranya has come in, and last week, Cleo Malala. was saying that Oparanya ana sura ya urais. I was wondering, Kibaki was very handsome, but he did a lot of jobs. So I was wondering, sura ya urais ni gani? Kilomara, what do you expect will shape up in the political scene? This group that is ganging up that was formerly NASA, do you think they'll still come back to NASA and rally behind Baba? How do you think politics is going to shape in the next coming months?
I see just two scenarios. Just two. Or three. Three scenarios. So scenario one is the handshake coalition will identify a candidate. And if they identify a candidate, take it from me, it will not be Raila Odinga.
Will it be?
Someone else. One of the others, say like babies.
Which one?
End.
The one which was not
or Kalonzo or wale watu wa kushikiwa. So, maybe one of them. So, that's scenario one. Against the Hustler Nation.
Where will be Raila? Where will Raila Odinga be?
He will be part of that.
Oh yeah, handshake.
Ile handshake hiyo atakuwa hapo. Scenario 2 is Kuria. Two horses and mules. Raila, Ruto, and these others. Yeah?
What are you calling others?
Anybody else will do that equation. And scenario 3 is what I've told you. See, like Pepe's versus Moses Kuria, Raila Odinga, and William Ruto.
So there's no chance of NASA ever coming back together?
No. Unless now NASA morphs into that other one. The handshake one.
So where are you putting Kitui in all this conversation?
Who?
Kitui. Mukisa.
Kitui.
Yes, Kitui.
Let me not talk about a friend, because he's a friend indeed.
Indeed or in need?
Mukisa Kitui is a friend. I have a lot of Mukisa, first of all, because of the role he played in the first Kibaki government as a minister for trade. A lot of things were shaping up. I think we need Kitui in cabinet.
Okay.
Whichever cabinet it is.
Not the president.
I would advocate. No. Not that he cannot make a good president, but every country has its own realities. It took 200 years for America to have a black president. That is a citadel of democracy. So for the same reason that we are not there yet, Kenya is not ready for a Mukisa Kitui presidency. But Mukisa Kitui is ready for Kenyan presidency. But both of them have to be in the right moment.
So he has to wait.
He has to wait for
a Mukisa moment.
Yeah, Mukisa moment. Me, I like to be a practical person. Yeah, be realistic, be practical. Don't let that deny this country of a very good cabinet minister for trade.
Do
it again. You have done it again now. You have done it globally. Now come and do it now.
Because I'm saying you've handled him with a lot of sociology. And like the other guys you call Sarah like babies, he's truly a friend.
Yeah, no, he's my friend. Because, he did, those guys, Anyang Nyong in planning, Kitui in trade. It was a wonderful government in 2003. And that's why we need to retrace our steps.
Back to where we left it.
Yeah.
Now, sir, who is likely? Who is the host to bid? And why?
Don't even think about it.
When in a B?
It's a competition between percentage. Will William Ruto win with 55% or 65%? Those are the two horses.
So we'll have which percentage?
I'm saying both of them, William or Samoei or Ruto. Yes.
Atachukua zote mbili.
Zote.
50 na 55.
55, 60 sasa wanangangania. William anangangania Samoei. Ni 65 ama 55.
You're saying it's percentages which are competing.
I'm not saying that because that's the side of politics I have been. I have been in charge of numbers for Kibaki 2007, Uhuru 2013, Uhuru 2017. I ran with numbers. Hata simu yangu. I can predict you to the vote how this vote will be.
Now that you mentioned William, you've been accused on both sides. Kieleweka and the other side that you are a mole in Tanga.
And I love it because also Tanga accuses me of being a Kieleweka mole. Kieleweka accuses me of being, I love it.
Or being the emissary.
I love it because I'm independent. I have my brain. You can call me a million moles. I will not support things that are not supposed to be supported. The other day, I condemned when Gideon Moi was talking from going to Nandi to be blessed by Tarai elders. And we had this part with the Molu comment. And I'm happy with it because I'm Moses Kuria. A guy who can go back to Chongamawe in Gatundu or to banking at ease. I don't...
You speak your mind and you go home and you sleep.
I speak my mind and I don't say that I can do anything for politics. No. Naambia both unizoea mapema. Because that's me. I will not. Simply because I'm with you, I condone bad behavior from you. Or things that endanger this country that I love very much. Or things that are going to put our children at risk. No. I support you because you are covering your agenda by hate for one person. Mnamcholea privately tukikunywa chai. Mnamcholea lakini huku juu mnasema hapana. We want to unite the country. Wow. And you expect me to be part of that conspiracy. So I'll continue calling both sides and all sides out on matters of honesty and on matters about the future
of
and
this
stability
nation. Of this nation.
And the fate of our children.
And now that you mentioned, are we staring at a Kuria presidency sometimes?
Sometimes. Who knows? Who knows?
Right.
But if I don't make my contribution as a member for Gatundu, as a member for parliament, as a member of this committee, if I don't do something today, what will the Kuria presidency help us with? Yeah?
Let's love a man who shoots.
It is good to be president, but let's continue doing things. Yeah? From whichever you are, hata kama you are church elder, that better our society.
Jenga pole pole.
Yeah, jenga pole pole.
Is there something that you've not said that you'd want to say?
As usual. Yeah, I'm about peace. And about the issue of political violence. It's the only thing nowadays I'm preaching. That hiyo yote nimesema ni bure if we think we can resolve our differences through violence. And I'm going back. I'm going all over Central Kenya and everywhere. At least where they can listen to me. I'm telling young people, please, mtu akwambia urushe jiwe, muulize mtoto wake ako wapi. Do not be used. Let us not use violence as a way of settling our differences. I was very mad the other day in Githurai. People accuse me of what? I go to Kondere. What's wrong with Raila coming to Githurai? I said it's wrong for people who are planning to stop Baba. Why? Si akuja ongea yake aende. Kuna ballot box amekuja nayo uwekeni kula sasa. The way I condemned Kibra violence during the by-election in Kibra. Ati mtu kama this childish boy anatoaji USG wa ODM. Edwin Sifuna asema ati Ineos si wakiwa na Simbarati ati ile bio ilikibiwa huko na kina Didimas Baraza na Khalwale na mbunge wa Malulu Injedi. Ati something to glorify. I even differed with my own president when he said he made some comments to make like the Kibra violence was good. And recently, Russia, it's wrong for me. It's wrong for a villager. It's even worse for the person who took the oath to protect property and life of everyone in this country. Violence has no place in our politics. Violence has no place in our society. Young people refuse to be used to propagate violence. Yeah? Recently, look at the Mazishi, which was here at my good friend, the deputy governor of Kisii, Maangi. Simbarati. And people who use violence, umuangalie tena kuna something. If I was my good friend Silvana Sosoro, hiyo ni ngome yake. That's his base. So how he allowed Simbarati to speak after him? So he makes a mistake because he hakuchora. Anakuja face.
Yeye mchoraji.
Nonsense. Wewe chora bwana. Ukitumia akili
utatumia kifua.
Unaruhusu Simbarati aogeaje juu after you. And then you go violence.
So alikosa mchoro.
Ukikuwa na mchoro hautakuwa na violence.
Utatumia kifua. Ukitumia akili huwezi tumia kifua.
Absolutely.
Hi, I know you have your by-elections that are coming up. I want to wish you all the very best.
Asante sana.
Congratulations kwa viti ya Murang'a ambao umepiga.
Asante.
And nimependa mchoro yako.
Asante.
Tutakuja kushirikiana na tuanze kuchora tukua choraji. So you have by-elections coming up?
Yes, I am campaigning for a friend called Gatuso in London Ward in Nakuru. A friend of mine called Kiguru, or the man Kiguru in Hell's Gate in Naivasha. Jamaa anaitwa Nkudi huko Kiamokama in Kisii. Stephen Musyoki in Kitisa Kiduki Ward in what do you call it, in Makueni County, and my good friend called Maina Matokeo in Huruma Ward in Eldoret. And all of them, coincidentally, I don't know why, they are vying on a party called the People's Empowerment Party.
Wow. It means it's something that you're doing right. As you say now, I want you to speak to the three people who are being seen to be either the solution or the problem to this country. The president, his deputy, and Raila Odinga. Can you start with, let's start from bottom up. Raila Odinga.
I will not single them out separately.
You want to speak to them
jointly
as a group? Okay.
Nick Ruto is my friend. Raila Odinga Jr. is my friend. Jomo and Gina and Jaba, the president's children, are my friends. You three, think of your children. When you think of Kenya, think of the country that you are going to be with them, as we think about our children as well. We may do things for ourselves, or what we think is right. Think about our children and your children. Because there's something we share with them, our children and your children.
The nation.
The destiny of this nation.
Wow. So you're going to live our children. Thank you so much for coming, sir. It's really a pleasure having to see you. Hope to see you again on the tackle. Ili tuweze kupanga kazi pamoja. Na tukuje tena tuongelee mambo ya biashara. Umesema yeye kwa mwana benki.
Economy sasa ukinita hapa tena. Tuache ya siasa.
So karibu sana
kwa miaka 10. So you are utamaliza so turudi mambo ya uchumi, which is my personal.
So you should be coming always. For the tacklers who have been watching us, thank you so much for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to have you. Hope to see you again tomorrow on Wednesday. Good to see you. Take care and I wish you all the best. This is the tackle and the tackle ends now. Signing out. Bye-bye.